Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Game 62 of the second season of the United Shore Professional Baseball League. Got a good one on tap tonight. The Eastside Diamond Hoppers battling against the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. Diamond Hoppers coming into this one sitting at 22-21 overall, and the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers at 26-20 overall. That's good for first place in the entire league. Beavers 8-2 in their last 10 games. They have a 5.5 game advantage lead on the West Side Woolly Mammoths. Got a couple of first pitches going out here tonight, but we have a rematch from earlier on this past weekend. The Beavers and the Diamond Hoppers both had the same pitchers pitch as that are going tonight. In last meeting between these two teams, it was Tanner Keast of the Eastside Diamond Hoppers and Jake Welch of the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. In that game, which the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers had won by a final of 4-0. In that game, Jake Welch had gone 5 innings pitched, gave up 4 earned runs, 3 hits, 4 walks, 7 Ks in his last start on the 17th, actually, against the Mammoths, And Tanner Keast in his last start, that was on August 18th versus the Unicorns. He went 6 innings strong, gave up 2 earned runs, 4 total. He gave up 3 hits, 3 walks, but had 12 Ks. As the Utica, California native doing well so far, even though he is 0-0 on the season. As the managers, that is Chris Newell and Paul Nochi, meet at home plate to discuss with the umpires here tonight. I will give you the starting lineups for both teams, starting with the visiting Diamond Hoppers. Leading off, playing shortstop out of Rappahannock Community College, number 7, Ricky Castro. Batting second, arguably up for the Triple Crown contention, Cam Stewart on the season. He is batting second, playing second for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers out of Frostburg State. Leads the team in a batting average, runs scored, and RBIs. Batting third, leading the team and the league in home runs with 9. That's the right fielder out of Southern Illinois, number 12, John Mencken. Batting cleanup at first base, number 21 out of San Jacinto College, Esteban Gomez. Batting fifth, a newcomer, a new face to the USPBL, making his USPBL debut out of Calhoun, Georgia, playing left field, number 55, Josh McAdams. Batting sixth, the designated hitter, number 24 out of Coppin State, John Kraft. Batting seventh, behind the dish, number 25 out of Western Oregon, that is Brandon Oliver. Batting eighth, playing third base out of Oklahoma Wesleyan, number 1, Trevor Archambault. And rounding out this Diamond Hopper lineup, playing center field today, that's number 10, Ian Mikowski out of Adrian College. Now, I mentioned Tanner Keast on the mound for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. He will face off against this lineup for the Beavers. Leading off, playing right field, number 26, Donandre Clark II out of St. Mary's College. Batting second, playing center field, number 20, that is Brandon Raw. Batting third as the designated hitter, that's number 8, out of Columbia, Robert Pauler. Batting fourth, playing third base, number 18, Christian Helsel. Batting fifth, out of Western Kentucky, the catcher, number 23, Hunter Wood. Batting sixth, playing left field, number 5, Daniel Oliveri. Batting seventh, playing shortstop today, out of New Mexico State University, number 10, Dan Kennan. Batting eighth, playing first base, number 11, Gerard Hernandez. And rounding out this Birmingham-Bloomfield Beaver lineup out of Dartmouth University, the second baseman, number 13, the league leader with batting average of .365, Thomas Rulis. And on the mound for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers, like I mentioned earlier, Jake Welch. Jake Welch out of Spencerport, New York on the season. This is his 21st game appearance, making his 20th start on the year. He has thrown 64 innings pitched, a 4-2 record. In those 64 innings, he's given up 44 hits, 27 walks, 63 Ks, 19 earned runs, and a 2.67 ERA with a 1.11 whip. And on the other side, for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers, Tanner Keast on the season. He has pitched in 30 innings pitched while giving up 22 hits, 12 earned runs, 14 total runs, 24 walks, 55 strikeouts, and an ERA of 3.60. Now, it looks as if, as it's Italian Heritage Night here, or German Heritage Night at the ballpark, we will be having both the German national anthem and the United States of America anthem going. It sounds as if we're getting ready to introduce the home team down on the field. That is the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. I'm going to set the mic up so you guys can hear the rest of that, as well as both of the national anthems, both of the German descent and the American. And then I'll be back on call. Once again, Rich Borland here with you. I was a part of the USPBL last season, got a chance to call about 20 of the 75 games, but they needed me back to help out, and I was in North Carolina all summer long working for a team in the Coastal Plain League, a collegiate summer league, arguably second best behind the Cape Cod League. So I had a lot of fun on the East Coast this summer, but ready to get back in action, starting off with the Hoppers and Beavers here tonight. So like I said, we'll have the German Heritage National Anthem and then the United States National Anthem coming up for you just shortly as the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beaver lineup finishes up.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please rise and direct your attention to the area around home plate for the presentation of the colors for tonight's game. Presenting the colors, please welcome the Deutsche Amerikanische Schützenverein Color Guard. Ladies and gentlemen, we remind you to remain standing at attention until the colors have been retired following the singing of our national anthems. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the singing of the German national anthem performed tonight by Michigan Sängerbitzer. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please remain standing. Remove your hats. Veterans and active military may keep your caps on while rendering a hand salute as we honor America and our military with the singing of our national anthem, once again performed by Michigan Sängerbitzer. Good job. Let's give them a hand, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's broadcast. Game 62 of the second season of the United Shore Professional Baseball League. Got the Eastside Diamond Hoppers going at it with the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. Both teams pretty even on the season. The Diamond Hoppers sitting at 22-21, while the league-leading Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers sitting at 26-20 on the season. Real quick before the leadoff batter for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers, that's Ricky Castro. He's getting loose in the on-deck circle. Let's give you the defense of the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. From left to right in the outfield. In left, number 5, Daniel Oliveri. In center, from Moorhead State, number 20, Brandon Raw. In right, number 26, Don Andre Clark II. From left to right in the infield, number 18, Christian Helsel. At shortstop, number 10, from New Mexico State, Dan Kennan. At second base, out of Dartmouth, Thomas Rulis. And over at first, out of Pinnacle High School, that is Gerard Hernandez. Once again, the part of the battery mate alongside Jake Welch, the starting pitcher for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers, as he throws strike one on the outside corner to Ricky Castro. Hunter Wood from Western Kentucky University helping him out in the battery mate. The 0-1 pitch swung on and missed. Ricky Castro quickly down in the count, 0-2. Castro out of Rapinoe Community College went 0 for 3, reached on a fielder's choice the last two times these teams met. Looks at ball one, low and inside, out of the right hand of Jake Welch, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish graduate. Castro on the season batting .292. He's got 49 hits, 27 runs, 12 RBIs, 20 walks. Castro, the shortstop out of the Dominican Republic, swinging right through and missing the fourth pitch of the game. He goes down for out number one. Castro heading back to the first base dugout. That'll bring up Cam Stewart. Talked about him. What a season Cam Stewart is having. The Virginia Beach native leading this team, 36 runs, a .333 average, 51 hits, 14 doubles, and 33 RBIs. He looks at a called strike on the outside corner for strike number 1, the Frostburg State product. Swinging it right through pitch number 2. He's quickly down in the count. Stewart on the season, like I mentioned, leading his team, with a .333 batting average, 8 home runs on the season, 33 RBIs as he fouls off the 0-2 pitch on the outside corner over to the third base coach. That's Paul Nochi. Stewart, 33 RBIs, 36 runs, 21 walks on the year. Jake Welch, the pitch, inside corner, got him with the indoor curveball as Stewart gets beat there. Back-to-back strikeouts for Jake Welch to start this one off. Jake Welch, in his last start, that was on the 17th of August against the Mammoths. He went 5 innings, gave up 4 earned runs, only 3 hits, 4 walks, and 7 Ks. He's looking like he's on here tonight at Jimmy John's Field. And the next batter, that is John Mencken, this league leader right now with 9 home runs. Swings and misses at the first pitch he sees. Mencken, the Southern Illinois product, went 1 for 3 the last time these two teams met. Had a single, a walk, and a strikeout. Looking at strike 2, though, is Mencken, and he's quickly down in the count now as well. Welch looking ever so sharp here. He's thrown just 1 ball out of all of his pitches. And almost going through on it was John Mencken, the catcher for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. Hunter Wood trying to sell it as he picked up that ball in the dirt and tagged the batter Mencken, but first base umpire says he did not go around, so the count goes to 1-2. Welch with a long stop there on the mound, trying to figure it out with his catcher Hunter Wood, but they cannot get on the same page, so he steps off. Pitch number 12 of the inning for Jake Welch gets fouled off down the left field line and out of play. It's definitely a tad bit colder, reaching that last week of August, heading into September. Temperature in Utica right now currently only 63 degrees, and it's only going to drop more here tonight. The slider on the outside corner not checked on by Mencken. He holds off at the last second, evens the count up at 2-2. If you're just joining us, we're scoreless here in the top of the first inning between the Eastside Diamond Hoppers and the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. Jake Welch had struck out the first 2 batters and now strikes out the side. He got Ricky Castro and Cam Stewart via the swing and miss, but retires John Mencken via the look on back-to-back-to-back strikeouts. He strikes out the side. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish alum, Jake Welch, with a good start to his night here on the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's broadcast, Game 62 of the United Shore Professional Baseball League YouTube channel here at Jimmy John's Field here in Utica, Michigan. The Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers and Eastside Diamond Hoppers starting to get going here, but Jake Welch, the star of the game here so far through the first 3 outs of the game, he retired Ricky Castro, Cam Stewart, and John Mencken, all via the strikeout. 2 swings and misses and a caught looking to end it on just 13 pitches in the top of the first. Tanner Keast on the mound for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers will hopefully, for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers' sake, continue that streak here tonight. His defense behind him quickly as we get ready to go. In the outfield from left to right, newcomer Josh McAdams, he's in left, number 55. Ian Mikowski, number 10, in center. In right field, number 12, John Mencken. And from left to right in the infield, number 1 at third base, Trevor Archambaugh. At shortstop, number 7, Ricky Castro. At second base, number 2, Cam Stewart. At first base, number 21, Esteban Gomez. And Tanner Keast doing the pitching for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers, number 23, making his 8th start of the season, 10th overall appearance. And he will be pitching to Brandon Oliver behind the dish. So Tanner Keast getting his night started. The first batter he faces is Don Andre Clark II out of St. Mary's College. Don Andre Clark, from what I've been told, predominant leadoff hitter in this league. He's batting .303 from that spot all year long. Yet to have a home run, so he's more of a contact guy. Uses his speed, that's for sure. He's got 56 hits on the season, 15 RBIs, 24 runs, 22 walks. He looks at the second pitch of the at-bat for a called ball. Evens the count up at 1-1. In this season, the Eastside Diamond Hoppers, like I mentioned, 21-21 as Don Andre fouls off the third pitch of the at-bat and actually off the glove of Brandon Oliver behind the dish. Home plate umpire giving him some time there. But the Utica Unicorns sitting just a game behind the Eastside Diamond Hoppers with 2 more losses. They're 21-23 behind these Diamond Hoppers. And then in the West, the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers with that league-leading 25-19 record. They are up 5 games on the West Side Woolly Mammoths, who are at 19-23. On the 1-2 pitch, Don Andre Clark goes down chasing. And just like his counterpart, Jake Welch, Tanner Keast strikes out the first batter he sees here in his outing tonight. So now Brandon Raw coming up to the plate out of Morehead State. Morehead State, the Eagles, home of a couple of players on the team I actually worked for this summer. I was in North Carolina working with a team in the Coastal Plain League. And excited to be back here where I had interned all last summer. Got about 20 games in on the call and also worked on the marketing and promotions team as the first pitch of the at-bat to Brandon Raw misses high and outside, brings the count to 1-0. Raw on the season, 23 RBIs. That's good for best on the team. The count, 1-0. Keast with the pitch, high and inside fastball. Raw, though, eyes widened up. He took a big cut. Misses it, though, and evens the count up at 1-1. Brandon Raw on the season, a .258 batting average with 7 home runs. 35 RBIs on the year. Looks at ball 2 here in this at-bat. Brings the count to 2-1. Brandon Raw, the Charlotte, North Carolina native, just about an hour outside of where I was stationed this whole summer in Thomasville, North Carolina, covering for the High Point Thomasville High Toms. As ball 3 in the at-bat misses outside. The coolest thing that I found out when I got down there in Thomasville, North Carolina, the MVP of the season last year, that's right, Austin Crutcher, had actually played for the team that I had worked for, but that was a couple of years ago before he had been with the Unicorns in the USPBL. So that was one of the fun things to see and notice down there. Brandon Raw, meanwhile, fouling off the 3-1 offering, out of play, and that brings the count full. Tanner Keast comes, sets, delivers the fastball, fouled off, and we'll do the full count all over here again. If you're a USPBL fan, there's a good chance you're a Tiger fan if you live in the state of Michigan. What a bizarre scene we saw today. 3 benches clearing brawls between the New York Yankees and the Detroit Tigers. It all started when Miguel Cabrera got thrown behind, and throwing this ball outside and missing the zone was Tanner Keast. The first base runner of the game is Brandon Raw. He gets on the full count walk to bring a base runner on here for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. And now Tanner Keast is going to have to be careful here. He's going to have to deal with Robert Pauler out of Columbia, the designated hitter. 6 home runs on the season. Good for second in the Western Division behind Alex Abbott of the Westside Woolly Mammoths. Outside of those 6 home runs, Robert Pauler batting .377 with 21 RBIs, 26 hits as he looks at ball 1 inside here. Mentioned it is a cold night here at the ballpark. Summer starting to fade away right before our eyes. And it is in the low 60s, high 50s here right around game time as Tanner Keast taking a step off, keeping an eye on the runner on first base. That's Brandon Raw. Infield, outfield at normal depth for the left-handed hitter out of Columbia. The Brooklyn, New York native looking at ball 2. Both pitches missing very inside. And now Brandon Oliver, the catcher, coming out to talk with his battery mate, trying to get him on the right page. Team gets struck out 3 straight times to start off this game. Going into this matchup between Jake Welch and Tanner Keast, 2 of the best so far in this season. You know you're most likely going to get a pitcher's duel in this one, so Brandon Oliver going out there to calm down Tanner before things get out of hand as the count remains at 2-0 on the batter Pauler. Pauler batting from the left side. Keast with the pitch. Fastball down the heart of the plate. Pauler thought about taking a hack at it, but holds off on it. Called, though, by the home plate umpire, strike number 1. The count 2-1 on the designated hitter. Castro and Stewart up the middle, 2 of the best defensively in this league, looking to turn 2 and end this inning. Instead, ball 3 missing inside here. So on the season, mentioned that Tanner Keast, 55 strikeouts to 24 walks. Already has 1 of each here in this one. But if he throws another ball here, that'll be base on ball number 2 for him. The 3-1 pitch, runner going, swing and a miss at the plate and down over at second base. A bang-bang play, but Brandon Raw is caught at second base for out number 2. So just like that, after the leadoff strikeout to Donandre Clark II, Brandon Raw reaches on the full count base on balls, and then he's caught stealing for out number 2. And not only that, but the 3-1 pitch was called a strike. And as I say that, just missing the zone there was Tanner Keast. Back-to-back walks on that full count offering right there for Tanner Keast. Brings Robert Pauler over there to first base. And that'll bring up Christian Helsel. Helsel batting from the right side, batting .325 so far in his stint with the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. Fouls off the first pitch he sees in the batter's box, off into the netting. But real quick, back to that brawl today. Gary Sanchez, Miguel Cabrera, Austin Romine. Some punches being thrown. We'll see what suspensions will be in order. Clearly, Cabrera and Romine will both get some, but pending further video evidence, Sanchez might get some as well. Meanwhile, on the 0-1 to Christian Helsel, the pitcher, Tanner Keast, keeping an eye on Pauler over there at first. On the 0-1 offer, Helsel looks at ball 1, high and outside of the zone. Brandon Oliver jumping out of his seat behind home plate, not only to keep that baseball in front of him, but also to protect the home plate umpire. The count 1-1 on Helsel. Keast with the delivery. High fastball here once again. So Keast, who's, like I mentioned, had a good season, that 24 walk to 55 strikeout ratio with a 3.60 ERA. Good command so far throughout the season, but having a little issue here with the fastball. Keast sat on the mound, takes a deep breath. brings it home. Fastball high and inside, swung on and missed from Christian Helsel, and the third baseman evens the count up at 2-2. On the verge of striking out, though, for the third and final out in this inning. Don Andre Clark led off with a strikeout looking. Brandon Raw reached on a full count walk but was caught stealing for the second out. And Pollard standing over there on first base. But as I say that, Christian Helsel gets completely froze up at the dish. The second strikeout of the inning for Tanner Keast gets the third out of the inning. We're scoreless after one inning of play here on the United Shore Professional Baseball League YouTube channel.
Check, check, 1, 2, 3. Check.
Test. Check,
yeah,
check.
I got you. Yeah.
All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's broadcast, Game 62 of the United Shore Professional Baseball League. Jake Welch, the pitcher for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers, out for his second inning of work. He's been perfect through the first three outs, back-to-back-to-back strikeouts. So his night, perfect so far, but he's going to have to deal with Esteban Gomez, Josh McAdams, the newcomer, and John Kraft here in this top of the second inning. 7:24 on the clock. Jake Welch with the first pitch of this second inning to Esteban Gomez. Changeup missing low and inside. Esteban Gomez, the San Jacinto College product, standing in. Looking at the second pitch of the at-bat, ahead in the county is 2-0. Gomez on the season, a .275 average, 3 home runs, 28 RBIs, 41 hits, 22 runs, 25 walks, but he's going to get his 42nd hit of the season right there, a base hit getting past the second baseman, Thomas Rulis. And the first hit of the ball game goes to Esteban Gomez of the Eastside Diamond Hoppers here with nobody out in this top of the second inning. So now Josh McAdams standing in here for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. McAdams, familiar to professional baseball, played with the Indians organization from 2012 to 2014. Fouls off the first pitch he sees in the at-bat. Got a piece of Hunter Wood behind the plate. But like I said, played in the Arizona Fall League in 2012. Played in the New York Players League, New York Penn League, in the 2013 for Mahoning Valley. Couple different teams in a couple different leagues in 2014. Took a 2-year hiatus, but is with the Lake Erie Crushers in the Frontier League before joining this Eastside Diamond Hopper team. Fouling off the next pitch again. Down in the count, 0-2 is McAdams against Jake Welch. Nobody out. Runner on first is Esteban Gomez, who reached on the leadoff single. But the 0-2 pitch to McAdams, he swings right through it for out number 1. 4th strikeout of the day here for Jake Welch, the right-hander out of Notre Dame. So now John Kraft out of Coppin State coming up to the plate. Batting from the left side. Welch, the pitch, outside, high fastball. Count going 1-0. Kraft in the last game against these Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers, who went 1 for 3, had an RBI on a double, but also struck out twice. Kraft looking at called strike number 1 on the outside corner, evens the count up at 1-1. Kraft on the season, a .250 average with 3 home runs, 10 RBIs, 20 hits, 17 runs, and 9 walks. Jake Welch sets, delivers, changeup low and inside there, misses the count at 2-1. Kraft 20 hits in 80 at-bats coming into this one. The fastball on the outside corner gets called a strike, evens the count up at 2-2 on the Coppin State product. Runner on first is Esteban Gomez. Welch comes set. Swing and a miss on the 2-2 offering. Kraft goes down, and every batter that has been retired has gone down via the strikeout here in this one. 5 outs out of 6 at-bats for Jake Welch. And would you look at that, 5 Ks on the day here so far. We're only with 2 outs in the top of the second inning. Over there on first base, like I mentioned, Esteban Gomez. He's 2 of 3 on the season on the base pass, so keep an eye out for that. But back-to-back strikeouts bring the first and second out here in this top of the second inning. Hunter Wood doing an incredible job behind the plate right there on the first pitch of the at-bat to Brandon Oliver, the other catcher in this ball game, keeping Esteban Gomez honest over there at first base. Oliver on the season batting .246 with 14 hits. Runner not going. Welch delivering. The ball hit high and deep into right center field. DonAndre Clark, though, ranging to his right, making the catch with ease. And the first ball that's put into play for an out for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers gets retired. We're through an inning and a half, and we're still scoreless here on the United Shore Professional Baseball League YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's broadcast of the USPBL. Beavers and Hoppers at it, scoreless here through an inning and a half. The only hit coming off the bat of Esteban Gomez. That led off this second inning. Before that, though, the starter for the Beavers, Jake Welch, had struck out the side. He's got 5 Ks through 2 innings, just the 1 hit given up. Meanwhile, his counterpart, Tanner Keese, the starter for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers, getting set to start his second inning of work. Just 22 pitches through the first inning, but pitch number 23, a fastball on the outside corner, missing for ball number 1. He's going to face off against Hunter Wood, the Western Kentucky University native, to start off this home half of the second inning. He swings right through pitch number 2, evens the count up at 1-1. Hunter Wood on the season, batting just .214. Hasn't left the yard yet. He's got just 4 RBIs on the season, 12 hits, 7 runs, and 18 walks. So a good eye at the plate, but looking at a called strike on the inside corner is Hunter Wood. He's down in the count now, 1-2. Hunter Wood, a Mount Washington, Kentucky native. He goes down chasing pitch number 4 of the at-bat for strikeout number 3 of the night for the starting pitcher, Tanner Keese, for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. But now Mr. Keese is going to have to deal with Daniel Oliveri. Daniel Oliveri, sort of a utility guy, playing in left field here tonight. Oliveri looking at ball 1 on the outside corner. Oliveri, one of the new faces of the USPBL, batting .308 through his first couple of games here. 8 total hits, 3 runs, 1 walk, 8 RBIs on the season. The 1-0 pitch gets fouled off and into the grandstands here. Looks as if one of the fans might have made a good catch. Couple of claps and cheers for that fan. Count is 1-1 on Oliveri. Looking at a curveball on the outside corner. Perfect pitch there from Tanner Keese. Gets Oliveri to freeze on the 1-1 pitch. Now the count 1-2. Dan Kennan standing in on deck, trying to get a base hit with a runner on here. But the 1-2 pitch to Oliveri, missing outside. One thing these players are going to have to start dealing with, as I see a majority of guys out there. In fact, I don't know if I see any that are just simply wearing the jersey. Maybe the right fielder for the Hoppers, John Mencken. But outside of that, every player wearing some type of warm clothing underneath their outfits, their jerseys. And as I say that, Daniel Oliveri goes down via the swing and miss on the 2-2 pitch. Second strikeout of the inning, 4th of the night. So that pitcher's match that we were expecting, we have gotten here so far. Mentioned Jake Welch through the first 2 innings. He's got 5 Ks. And the pitcher for the Diamond Hoppers, Tanner Keese, if he can get Dan Kennan, who looks at ball number 1 on the outside corner, to strike out, he will have not only matched that, but struck out the side here in this second. Kennan on the season, a .275 average, no home runs, 14 RBIs, and he's got 41 hits to his credit. Looks at strike 1 on the outside corner, evens the count up at 1-1. Kennan, the Deming, New Mexico native, played all at third base last season when I was watching these teams battle it out, but it looks as if he is playing shortstop here tonight. Not sure if that's where he's been all year long, but he looks at called strike number 2, a curveball that bends in here, brings the count to 1-2 on Kennan, on the verge of striking out here. The 1-2 pitch, fastball, grounder to second base, and underneath the legs it goes. Cam Stewart, who I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, has a chance to win the Triple Crown offensively in the league, but the defense there slipping just a bit as the ball takes kind of a weird hop, but either way, a play that's got to be made there by Cam Stewart, one of the predominant names and players in this league here in this 2017 season. Gives Dan Kennan an opportunity to score here, but 2 outs. The runner on first is Kennan. Gerard Hernandez coming up to the plate. On the season, though, batting just .136, 2 home runs, 15 RBIs. He's got 12 hits, 4 runs, and a couple of walks, 2 to be exact. Runner on first is Kennan. Hernandez at the plate, looking at a curveball that misses inside. Almost got a piece of Hernandez, but he got out of the way of it. Keast with the long set. Brings that front leg up, throws a fastball, and fires it right by the swinging and missing bat of Gerard Hernandez. Evens the count up at 1-1. Kennan on the season, no stolen base attempts or caught stealing just yet. So Kennan, who I thought might have had some speed on him, trying to check these stats, hasn't done much in terms of a base steal threat. And as I say that, Gerard Hernandez swinging right through another pitch, bringing the count to 1-2 on the left-handed hitter. So Keast trying to battle around that 2-out error from the second baseman, Cam Stewart. He could strike out the side here if he gets Hernandez to either chase or look at one. The 1-2 pitch, swung on and missed. A fastball high and outside, gets chased on, and the 5th strikeout of the game for the starting pitcher, Tanner Keast, for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers, ends the 2nd inning. And after 2 innings of play, we're scoreless here in Game 62 of the United Shore Professional Baseball League here on the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 62 of the USPBL season. Diamond Hoppers and Beavers dueling it out. We're scoreless through 2 innings. Like I mentioned, the pitcher's duel that we expected happening here tonight. Jake Welch as well as Tanner Keast, 2 innings apiece. Tanner Keast has given up no hits. And meanwhile, Jake Welch started off the 2nd inning, giving up a hit to Esteban Gomez. But Welch, who was one of the marquee guys in the 2016 season, had a 1-1 record with 25.2 innings pitched, gave up 21 hits, 2 walks just, 19 strikeouts, a 3.16 ERA, and a whip of .90. Continuing that stride here this season, coming into tonight with 64 innings pitched, in 20 games. 4-2 record. He also has 3 saves on the season. He's given up 44 hits, 27 walks, 63 strikeouts. And the first man he's going to face off here to start this 3rd inning with pitch number 27. He will be battling against the Oklahoma Wesleyan product, Trevor Achenbach, as I get corrected by our PA announcer. That's John Grab, good friend of mine. Had a lot to prep for here in this one, but did not have a lot of time. Trying to get some stuff ready for school in the upcoming fall semester, but trying to prep for this one as well. Achenbach, not one of the things I had prepped for. So Trevor Achenbach now standing in to start off this 3rd inning for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers against Welch. Welch with Pitch number 27 of the night. Fastball that misses low and inside. Archambault did not play in the last time these two teams met. Fouls off the second pitch of the at-bat in the dirt and then off his body. Count goes to 1-1. Archambault, through his season here, just a 118 average, no home runs, 1 RBI, a couple of hits, 4 runs, and a walk to his credit. Trying to move up in the league with a slow start here. The 1-1 pitch, fastball high and inside, missing. And the count now going to 2-1. So far, Tanner Keast yet to have given up a hit. Welch, on the other hand, the man on the mound, giving up that leadoff single in that previous inning to Esteban Gomez. The only action so far, but as I say that, Archambault hits a line drive to the shortstop, Dan Kennan. Kennan reaching to his right and makes the catch on a step, and it's actually good enough for the Get It Done 1-800-Hanson's play of the game. And that line out there to the shortstop, Kennan, is good for out number 1 here in this third inning of play. That brings up the number 9 hitting Ian Mikowski. He plays in center field today. The Adrian College product from Grand Rapids, Michigan. As I skim over these two rosters as he looks at ball 1 on the outside corner. Looks as if no men from Michigan are on the Birmingham-Bloomfield squad, as the 1-0 pitch from Mikowski goes out of play on the foul ball. And we'll see if he's got any Michigan teammates on the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. And as I skim through, Mikowski, as well as Matt Rogers, one of the pitchers for this Eastside team. He's from Clarkston, Michigan. Michael Stafford, another arm for the Diamond Hoppers. He's out of Canton, Michigan. And then Tyler Palm out of West Branch, Michigan, the home actually of my grandmother. So that's pretty cool. So a couple of Michiganders on this Eastside Diamond Hopper team. The 1-1 pitch hit to Kennan over there at shortstop, and just like that, Dan Kennan makes the first 2 plays here of this inning. The first on the line out off the bat of Trevor Archambault, and then the grounder there from Ian Mikowski for out number 2. Back to the top of the order we go. Almost perfect on the night for Jake Welch. Just the 1 single off the bat of Esteban Gomez back in the second inning. Outside of that, he's got 5 Ks and working on possibly his second 1-2-3 inning of the night. Throwing ball 1, though, to Ricky Castro as we head back to the top of this Eastside order. Castro on the night, 0 for 1 with a K, but hits a high fly ball into foul territory. All 3 fielders coming underneath it, and it looks like Daniel Oliveri, the left fielder, will call it off for the third and final out. 1, 2, 3 go down the Diamond Hoppers and through 2.5 innings of play. We're still scoreless here in Game 62 between the Eastside Diamond Hoppers and the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers on the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's broadcast here from Jimmy Johns Field in Utica, Michigan. Rich Borland alongside here with you. Diamond Hoppers and Beavers going toe-to-toe. Pitcher's duel here so far, just one hit on the night. That belonged to Esteban Gomez for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers back in the second inning. Thomas Rulis, the leadoff batter for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers in this bottom of the third inning, quickly looks at ball number one after looking at strike one. As the count evens up at 1-1. Rulis looking at the third pitch of the at-bat. Fastball that missed just low. 93-mile-an-hour fastball. Not getting enough of the strike zone there. Count goes to 2-1. Rulis on the season batting .365. Good enough for the league lead. Not going to add to it on this one as he fouls off the pitch into the netting towards the left side. Count evens up at 2-2. Rulis on the season, 20 RBIs, 57 hits, 32 runs scored, 13 walks. But in his first plate appearance here in this one against Tanner Keast, another pitch there. Good pitch on the inside corner. Fastball jamming in on the hands of Rulis. 96 on the gun. Have to mention this. Tanner Keast just recently broke the USPBL miles per hour record. He had touched just nearly triple digits, hit 99 on the clock a couple of starts ago, and in fact it might have been his last start. But either way, Keast with definitely some talent and obviously quite an arm. The full count offering, a fastball on the inside corner, and no ruling from either umpire here just yet. It looked as if Rulis had possibly checked his swing, and in fact, first base umpire saying that he did not go around. There really, at first, was not a sign or a notion being called by either umpire. Finally, the first base umpire making a call over there at first base. So now Rulis over there on first. Back to the top of the order we go for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers, and that is Donandre Clark. Struck out swinging in his first plate appearance, but he's going to lay a bunt down here. The third baseman, that is Trevor Aukenberg, ends up making the play over at first base. Thomas Rulis gets over to second with ease, and the sacrifice bunt going down there via the 5-3 putout for the first out here in this one. Brings a runner to second base here with one out in the bottom of the third. So the Beavers trying to get some small ball here to move the runners over. Rulis, who reached on the leadoff walk, gets to second on that sacrifice bunt from Clark. And that brings up Brandon Raw, who, like I mentioned earlier in his first at-bat, leads his team with 23 RBIs. He looks at ball one here in this one. He had reached back in the first inning, the first base runner that these Beavers had. He walked on a full count back in the first inning. Looking, though, at ball two, bringing the count to 2-0 on Raw. That fastball at 93 miles an hour, just missing on that outside corner. Brings the count to 2-0 on the right-handed hitting Brandon Raw out of Morehead State. Runner on second is Rulis. He has a good lead, but not going anywhere. Brandon Raw, meanwhile, hitting a baseball about 1.5 miles high. And underneath it, weren't sure who was going to catch it at first. Both Cam Stewart and Ricky Castro were hovering in the area, but Castro taking charge there, catching it for out number two on the pop-out. And after that leadoff walk to Thomas Rulis on the full count offering out of the hand of Tanner Keast, back-to-back putouts here from Clark and Raw bring up Robert Pauler, the designated hitter, who, like I mentioned, has 6 home runs on this season, good for second in the West. And as I say that, looks as if Pauler is going to get intentionally walked here. Not the worst idea. Had the base open over there at first. Pauler, one of the marquee guys on this Beaver team when it comes to offense. Pauler, who can play outfield at the designated hitter's hole today. He reaches second he reaches for his second time in just 2 at-bats. First one, a walk via the unintentional variety, and then on this one, gets to first base without even seeing a pitch. That brings up Christian Helsel with runners on first and second. 2 outs here. Fouls off the first pitch he sees out of the hand of Tanner Keast. Keast thinking that Helsel would be the better matchup outside of Robert Pauler. The 0-1 pitch, a fastball on the outside corner, bringing the count to 0-2. And Helsel quickly has dug himself into a hole. 0-2 count here. 2 outs, bottom of the third inning. Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers trying to get themselves on the board, but instead will not. A swing and a miss for Christian Helsel for the third and final out here in this third inning. We head to the fourth inning scoreless. Beavers still without a hit here on the United Shore Professional Baseball League YouTube channel. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's broadcast. Diamond Hoppers and Beavers continuing to go at it. Cam Stewart for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers leads his team batting average, runs scored, RBIs. Frostburg State product, trying to get his first hit of the night. He struck out back in the first inning as part of a 3-strikeout inning for Jake Welch, who is still out on the mound for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. As some of the German heritage people get back off the field, we officially are ready to get back into the swing of things here. Just one hit on the board between both of these teams. As Jake Welch throws the fastball on the inside corner. Cam Stewart with a good swing, but not a good piece of the wood on it. A line out, soft line out that is, over there to Dan Kennan. As Cam Stewart retired for out number 1 here in this top of the fourth inning. And now John Mencken, who leads this league with 9 home runs, trying to stand in and give his team their second hit of the night. The first one belonging to Esteban Gomez, the man who stands on the on-deck circle as we currently speak. So the Southern Illinois native standing in against Jake Welch. Mencken looks at a fastball on the inside part, not getting a piece of the plate though, so the count 1-0. Mencken on the season coming into tonight, a .329 average. He hits a hard line drive back to Welch over there at the pitcher's mound, and instead of a single, the second baseman, Thomas Rulis, trying to come in and make the play off the ricochet. Ends up throwing the ball past the first baseman. That is Gerard Hernandez, and we'll see what they rule that here. Don't want to say the incorrect ruling, and it looks as if they're going to give it a hit. So a base hit there for John Mencken, the second hit of the night, and he gets over to second base on the throwing error from the second baseman, Thomas Rulis. So we're all caught up there. Mencken gets all the way to second base on that infield single. He hit it pretty hard back up the middle. It ricocheted off of Welch, and now that Welch has a base runner on second base for the first time here tonight, he brings out his catcher, Hunter Wood, for a quick little chat, going over which signs they want to go with the runner on second base, as Wood is now going to have to mix up his signs to not let the base runner, that is John Mencken, pick up anything. The first pitch to the batter, Gomez, a fastball on the inside corner, missing though. Count going to 0-1. One out on the board. Cam Stewart led off with that line out to shortstop. And now Mencken, who's over on second base with that infield single. That's where we sit currently. Esteban Gomez ahead in the count, 1-0. Welch with the fastball missing just low there. Brings the count to 2-0. Esteban Gomez singled, like I mentioned, just past the second baseman, Rulis, back in that second inning. Couldn't come anywhere close to scoring as he was stuck on first base after back-to-back strikeouts to McAdams and Kraft, and then a fly out to right off the bat of Brandon Oliver in the second. And as I say that, the 2-0 pitch missed outside again here out of the hand of Jake Welch, and now the count 3-0. We'll see if Welch decides to try and fight back in this count or if he just lets Gomez get the base, with Josh McAdams, who's in his USPBL debut, standing in on deck, struck out swinging back for the first out in the second inning. And it looks like McAdams is going to get his chance. The 4-pitch walk to Esteban Gomez brings runners to first and second here in this top of the fourth. Speaking of incredible pitching performances, if you're a baseball fan, you know exactly what happened just a few nights ago. Rich Hill, some history being made, as looks like one of the coaches for the Beavers is out to talk with Welch. Nobody warming up in the bullpen just yet, so simply just a boost of confidence / situational strategy meeting at the mound here. But as the meeting is going, how about that start from Rich Hill? What a turn of events. He had a perfect game after 8 innings, and then going into the bottom of the ninth in Pittsburgh last night, or 2 nights ago, excuse me. It was a scoreless game, so no offensive production to back up the perfect game through 8 innings for Rich Hill and the Dodgers. He had given up a leadoff ground ball that got past Forsythe's glove, and they got out of that inning. His no-hitter still intact after the complete 9 innings, but the Dodgers could not get a run in the top of the 10th. Rich Hill came back out for the bottom half, and Josh Harrison, with the first hit of the game for the Pirates, walked off with a homer to left field. Curtis Granderson, the new Dodger, almost robbing him of that home run. But what a crazy scene right there. Some history being made as Josh McAdams, the batter for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers, standing in with 1 out and runners on first and second, looks at ball 1. So Welch starting to run into a little bit of issue here. But as I say that, the 2-seam fastball on the inside corner going underneath the bat of McAdams evens the count up at 1-1. A big spot here for Welch. Like I mentioned, after 2 innings, he had 5 strikeouts. But since then, he hasn't gotten any swings and misses or caught looking. This one, a high ground ball over to the third baseman. That's Christian Helsel. Helsel on that high pop-up grounder. It initially had hit the ground right in front of home plate and risen in the air, and it felt like it was a pop-up over to that third baseman, Christian Helsel. And the runner, John Mencken, who was at second, with that slow ground ball, was able to make it to third. Josh McAdams, who hit that ball, gets to first base on the fielder's choice, but the out recorded over at second brings runners to the corners here. as Esteban Gomez gets put out at second base via the 5-4 putout for out number 2. Big spot here for Jake Welch. He leads off John Kraft, the next batter for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers, with a curveball that Kraft swings right through. Kraft as the DH here tonight, supporting number 24. Struck out swinging for out number 2 in the second, but trying to bring in the first run of the ball game here for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. The 0-1 pitch in the dirt looked to be a changeup. Good stop there from Hunter Wood to keep not only Josh McAdams at first, but keep John Mencken over there at third and away from scoring. Runners on the corners, the count 1-1. Welch facing off against Kraft. The fastball on the outside corner, called strike by the home plate umpire, brings the count to 1-2. So John Kraft, who in the last time these two teams met, went 1 for 3 with an RBI double and 2 strikeouts, trying to bring in something here for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers, but he's going to have to get through Welch as he's protecting on a 1-2 count. Welch sets the runner from first going, but swinging and missing right through it is John Kraft. A nasty changeup at 84 miles an hour. Welch retires Kraft. And after 3.5 innings of play, we are still scoreless here at Jimmy John's Field between the Eastside Diamond Hoppers and the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. You're listening with Rich Borland on the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 62 here from Jimmy John's Field. Eastside Diamond Hoppers and Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers going at it. Just one hit on the night, or excuse me, just 2 hits on the night so far, both for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. Meanwhile, their starter, Tanner Keese, going out for his 4th inning of work. He's already at 53 pitches through the first 3 innings, but he has not given up a hit just yet. 4 walks, though, as well as 6 Ks on the night for the starter, Tanner Keese. He's going to have to deal with the 5, 6, 7 hitters, at least here in this bottom of the 4th inning. Hunter Wood, Daniel Oliveri, and Dan Kennan due up for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. Tanner Keese ready to get back into it. Fastball missing low for pitch number 54 on the night to start off this bottom of the 4th inning. Hunter Wood standing in, trying to not strike out for the 2nd time here as he led off the 2nd inning with a strikeout. Looking at ball 2 high and outside. A good hitter's count here so far for Hunter Wood in this at-bat. Keast obviously trying to limit his pitches, control it as well. That command, that is. The 2-0 pitch, a fastball that misses just barely. Wood possibly went around, but unfortunately for Tanner Keith's sake, there's only a field umpire down the line at first, so he's saying he did not go around. The call, though, on the 3-0 pitch, a fastball on the inside part of the plate, gets called a strike. brings the count to 3-1. The 3-1 offering missing inside there, and walk number 5 on the night for Tanner Keast. Still yet to have given up a hit, but already sitting at 58 pitches here in this one. Oliveri coming up to the plate. 0 for 1 on the night with a strikeout. Back-to-back strikeouts Wood and Oliveri had to start the second inning before Dan Kennan reached on the error from Cam Stewart. A big spot here for Tanner Keast. Not only is he still not giving up a first hit of the night, but if he gives up another walk here, that'll be walk number 6 of the night. That'll put runners on first and second with nobody out, but a good start against Oliveri here. The fastball on the outside corner getting called a strike. Oliveri in his time batting .308, but with just 8 hits on the season. The 0-1 pitch, fastball, fought off to the right side. If it stays fair, it's going to be trouble. It does. Down the line it goes. Hunter Wood rounding second, heading to third, but at second base, Oliveri getting thrown out by the right fielder. That is John Mencken. A heads-up play defensively from the right fielder, getting the out on the following runner. So the first hit of the night goes to Daniel Oliveri for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. He brings Hunter Wood all the way to third, but getting caught from the right fielder on the 9-6 putout at second base gives the Beavers their first out here. But with the way that this game has gone, obviously not a lot of offense. The Eastside Diamond Hoppers from left to right on the infield, all of them are playing in as we speak with that runner, Hunter Wood, who reached on the leadoff 5-pitch walk, standing just 90 feet away from scoring. The count going to 1-0 on Dan Kennan as he looks at ball 1. Second pitch of the at-bat, fastball just missing on the outside corner. So a scenario here, Kennan, not the greatest hitter, but Gerard Hernandez a whole lot worse. You're already down in the count 2-0 against Kennan. Wouldn't be the worst thing to put him on. You keep the corners in, but would put the middle infielders at their normal depth. They could possibly turn 2. But on that 2-0 pitch, Kennan looking at a fastball on the outside corner brings the count to 2-1. Kennan coming into play tonight before he reached on that error from Cam Stewart at second base. Had been batting .275 with 14 ribbies, 41 hits. Swinging right through that 2-1 pitch, that high fastball. Kennan cannot catch up to as he slowly walks out of the box and actually bumps his chest, saying that was his fault. Checking the mannerisms there for Dan Kennan, the New Mexico State University native. The 2-2 pitch hit to the right side, back to Stewart. Stewart electing to come home with it. Play at the plate in time, and excuse me, on one hop, the catcher. That was Brandon Oliver, could not come up with it. Cam Stewart, who looked like he had a good throw on one hop, it would have been a whole lot easier if he got it right to the catcher, Brandon Oliver, but with that hop, the catcher not being able to come up with it, it looked as if he might have been able to tag the runner, Hunter Wood, but at the last second, the ball falling out, and the first run coming for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers here in this one. So Kennan reaching for the second time today on the fielder's choice. Trying to take second base there as Hernandez fouls off a pitch. Kennan's going to have to go all the way back to first. Hernandez struck out swinging to end the second inning. And he's batting just .136 through his season so far. Down in the count he is 0-1. Kennan over there on first base. No stolen bases or caught stealing to his credit thus far in the season. The 0-1 pitch, a curveball that doesn't drop in enough as the count evens up at 1-1. Finally, the first hit of the game coming off the bat of Daniel Oliveri with a runner on and no outs in this fourth inning. Brought runners to second and third before Oliveri was actually thrown out at second for the first out of the game. But Hunter Wood coming in for the first run of the game as The second baseman, Cam Stewart, tried to make the play at the plate, could not get a clean connection with the catcher, Brandon Oliver. So Hunter Wood scores for the first run of the game. Gerard Hernandez, meanwhile, down in the count 1-2 with one out. Kennan, the runner, on first. Tanner Keast comes set. From the stretch position, the curveball bending and breaking right underneath the bat of Hernandez. A really nice pitch there from Tanner Keast for out number 2 here in this bottom of the fourth inning. So strikeout number 7 on the night for Tanner Keast. He's going to have to deal with the league leading batting average-wise, that is, Thomas Rulis. Here with 2 outs and 1 runner on. Keast comes, sets, delivers the fastball right past the swinging opportunity there from Thomas Rulis. Way behind on that one. He's down in the count 0-1. Reached back in the third inning on a walk. Made it all the way to second base, but outside of Hunter Wood, he has made it the furthest on the base pass tonight. Speaking of that, Kennan trying to take second base, but he will, in fact. The catcher, Brandon Oliver, at a loss for words with his hands above his head. Cannot believe it. A bang-bang play over there at second base. But Dan Kennan, now perfect on this season, 1 for 1 with that stolen base. He gets into scoring position as that 0-1 offering to Rulis missed and evened the count up at 1-1. So Kennan now 180 feet away from scoring. Rulis trying to drive him in. A hard ground ball hit to the right side, and it's going to get underneath the glove of Cam Stewart, the second error of the night. They put hit up on the board, but I'll be shocked if this one goes down as a hit. And in fact, it was an error. Got to imagine that was E4, the second error of the night for Cam Stewart. A tough break there. Drives in the second run of the game for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers, and they take the 2-0 lead. Mentioned it's a chilly one here in Utica, Michigan. I was in North Carolina all summer working for the High Point Thomasville High Toms. A whole lot colder here. And as I say that, after Dan Kennan had stolen second base, Thomas Rulis drives him in with that E4 reach. But Rulis trying to take second base as well. Brandon Oliver, 1 for 2 in the inning, catching Thomas Rulis there for the third and final out, but not before the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers can tack on for 2 runs in the bottom of the fourth inning. We head to the 5th as the Beavers have the 2-0 lead. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for tonight's broadcast. Beavers and Hoppers going at it. Beavers with the 2-0 lead after 4 innings of play. Brandon Oliver leading off for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers to start off this 5th inning. Oliver, after looking at 2 straight balls, looks at called strike number 1 out of the hand of Jake Welch, who's out for his 5th inning of work, coming into the inning at 49 pitches. The 2-1 pitch, a curveball, does not get enough of the plate and brings the count to 3-1 on Oliver. Oliver flew out to right field where Donandre Clark is standing. Back in the 2nd inning, he hits a hard ground ball, this time to the right side of the field again, but this time to the second baseman, Thomas Rulis out of Dartmouth, for the first out of this 5th inning. Welch, who I mentioned just at 49 pitches coming into this 5th inning, efficient here so far. If he can get through the 5 innings, he can get the quality start outing for the Beavers, but obviously he's trying to go as long as he possibly can to get the victory here tonight. A good start here for him in this 5th inning, getting Oliver to be retired via the 4-3 putout. And now Trevor Achenbach standing in from the right side, a nasty curveball that initially I thought was going to get a piece of Achenbach, falls in for a strike, so obviously that shows why I'm up here and not down on the field. Welch on the 0-1 offering, a fastball on the inside part of the plate, gets a piece of it, is Trevor, but fouling it off late and out of play brings the count quickly to 0-2. Achenbach in his first plate appearance to start the 3rd inning off, lined out to Dan Kennan, who is shading towards that 5-6 hole, a little bit more to the left from my vantage point than he normally is. On the 0-2 offering, a fastball on the inside, just missing that plate and bringing the count to 1-2. Achenbach, the infielder out of Billings, Montana, fouling off the next pitch he sees. Billings, Montana, actually real close to where my mom recently moved, so shout out the people out of Montana if you're listening. My mom living out of Bozeman. But Achenbach down in the count 1-2. The Oklahoma Wesleyan product fouling off another pitch, and he's quickly fouled off a couple here in this at-bat. 5 pitches so far in this one, just a 1-2 count. So 1 out, a 1-2 count here. Oliver grounded out to the second baseman, Thomas Rulis, to start this one off. The 1-2 pitch just missing. Welch freezing after that one, trying to sell it, but he couldn't believe it. Either way, though, going to have to come back with one here. The count evening up at 2-2. Achenbach, who's hitting just 118 thus far in an Eastside uniform, hits a hard ground ball, a couple of hops to Kennan over there at shortstop. A soft throw getting past the first baseman. That is Gerard Hernandez. Not sure which one they're going to credit the error to. Looked as if Kennan had thrown it a little low, but at the same time, Hernandez looked as if he probably could have had that. Either way, an error right there with 1 out gives Achenbach an opportunity on the base pass here with 1 out in the top of the 5th. So the number 9 hitter, Ian Mikowski, out of Adrian College, the hometown product, normally living on the west side in Grand Rapids. His first pitch he sees in the at-bat, hitting a line drive out there into left field, and Daniel Oliveri coming in with a huge catch on the slide for out number 2. Also keeping Achenbach over there honest at first base. But the fly out there for Mikowski gives 2 outs here in this top of the 5th inning. The Beavers with the 2-0 lead here. And now with 2 outs and the runner on first is still Achenbach, who reached on that error. Two outs, back to the top of the order we go. Ricky Castro standing in from the left side, looking at ball 1 on the outside corner. Castro Struck out in the first inning, flew out to left, back in the third. I'll never forget Ricky Castro, who has no home runs in this season. Last year, also a guy known more for his speed and defense instead of his raw power. As he looks at called strike one on the outside corner, brings the count to 1-1. I'll never forget when Ricky Castro hit a grand slam for this same Eastside Diamond Hopper team last year. Put a big smile on his face as well as all the Eastside fans as he is one of the regulars here. The count, though, 1-1 on Castro. Missing inside was Welch. Brings the count to 2-1. It definitely wasn't my favorite part of the year, though. Donnie Murray, the pitcher for the Utica Unicorns, still on this Unicorn team. They'll be playing later on in the weekend. Donnie Murray with that no-hitter. I was thrilled to be a part of that one. As I say that, Ricky Castro with an absolute laser to the right side of the infield. The second baseman, Thomas Eulis, trying to make a play on it, but with how hard that ball was hit, wasn't going to be a easy play there for Rulis. And instead, that ball going into the outfield, I believe they did rule that a hit, and in fact they did. Hit number 3 of the night for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers, going to Ricky Castro, brings runners to the corners as Achenbach gets all the way to third, moving up 180 feet. No runs yet to come in to score, but what a crazy score line this is. The Hoppers with 4 hits on the night, no runs through 4 2/3. Meanwhile, the Beavers, who have 2 runs on the night, have just 1 hit. 2 errors on the night for Cam Stewart, having to do with some of the reasoning for that. And as I say that, Stewart, who's standing in now from the right side, chases after a pitch low and away, bringing the count to 0-1. Runner on first is Ricky Castro. The runner on third is Achenbach. Welch, the pitcher, sets, throws the curveball, getting enough of the outside corner. Nice pitch there, bringing the count to 0-2 on Stewart. The 0-2 pitch, a nice stop there from the catcher, Hunter Wood, out of Western Kentucky. The slider down and away. A nice stop there from Hunter Wood, keeping the Diamond Hoppers off the board for at least another pitch. Castro on the season, 7 of 12 on the base pass. Staying honest over there at first, though. And the fastball high and away, Cam Stewart holding off, evens the count up at 2-2. But yes, Castro on the season, 7 of 12 on the base pass. The Beavers in their white pinstripe home uniforms, Hoppers in their green away jerseys. Castro on the move, and the hit and run almost working effectively, but Christian Helsel over at the hot corner at third, coming up with a huge catch on the jump for the third and final out. The Eastside Diamond Hoppers threaten but cannot score in the top of the 5th inning. Beavers lead it 2-0 as we head to the home half. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Game 62 of Season number 2 of the United Shore Professional Baseball League. Rich Borland here with you. If you're just joining us, the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers up 2-0 on the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. The Beavers getting both of those 2 runs in this previous 4th inning. Hunter Wood with the leadoff walk. Daniel Oliveri reached on a single but was thrown out at second. Dan Kennan reaching on a fielder's choice as Hunter Wood tried to get thrown out at the plate but came in to score for the first run of the game. Hernandez struck out swinging for the second out, and then Thomas Rulis reached on an error that brought in Dan Kennan for the second run of the game. 72 pitches through 4 innings, though, for the starting pitcher. That's Tanner Keast. He's going to have to deal with the top of the order here in this bottom of the 5th inning. The leadoff man, Donandre Clark, the second, fouls off the first pitch he sees and then looks at 2 straight, bringing the count to 2-1 on the left-handed hitter out of St. Mary's College. Like I mentioned, Keast at 72 pitches coming into this inning. 3/4 of the way through the century mark as pitch number 76 misses outside, and the count now 3-1 on Donandre Clark, who is 0 for 1 on the night. Struck out swinging back in the first, but moved a runner over with a bunt over to the third baseman, Trevor Achenbach. On the 3-1 offering, Donandre Clark fouling off a pitch, so now the count ringing full. And the payoff pitch will ensue here for Tanner Keast. The windup, the pitch, fastball on the outside corner. Contact being made. The third baseman, Achenbach, trying to get the runner at first, and in fact he will. Donandre Clark with plenty of speed out of the box from the left side, but a nice job, heads-up play there from Achenbach. The slowly hit ground ball, Achenbach had to realize he had to make a quick throw over to first base to retire Clark, and in fact he did just that for the first out here in this bottom of the 5th inning. Huge job there from the starting third baseman, Achenbach, to keep the Beavers off the base pass. So 1 out here in this bottom of the 5th inning. Tanner Keast now dealing with Brandon Raw. Fastball on the outside does not get called a strike. Now the catcher, that is Brandon Oliver, going out to talk with Tanner Keast as Keast continues to have his pitch count rise up. Looks as if there's no one technically getting loose yet, and as I say that, it looks as if somebody is starting to skirmish around in that Eastside bullpen as pitch number 2 of the at-bat to Brandon Raw misses inside. Raw on the night popped out to shortstop back in the third, but reached on a walk back in the first. Looks like he might have his first hit of the night, though, and he will. A base hit into right center field. The right fielder, John Mencken, looks as if he had bobbled that ball. Looked as if it was going to be a double either way for Brandon Raw. And in fact, you got to imagine, even with that little bobble from Mencken out there in right, Raw was going to get there with ease. And in fact, he's up there standing out at second with 1 out here. And looks like that'll be the hit of the game here in this bottom of the 5th inning. Beavers trying to add on to their 2-0 lead already. Tanner Keast, who had given up no hits through the first 3 frames, gave up 2 runs on just 1 hit, adding on with an error back in that 4th inning. And for the second time in just as many at-bats, Rob Pauler gets walked for the 3rd time tonight, but 2nd in a row via the intentional variety. He had walked back in the first on a full count offering, but in his last 2 at-bats, he has been put on first without any sort of threat. So now Raw moves to second, or Raw stays at second. Pauler, though, over there to fill in the hole at first. The first pitch to the next batter, that's Christian Helsel. He fouls off out of play. So runners now at first and second with just 1 out here in this home half of the 5th inning. Helsel's pitch count continuing to climb. Keast's pitching count continuing to climb here. But Keast already not trying to give up any more runs. Down in this one, 2-0. The 0-1 pitch, a curveball that completely fools Helsel. He is now down in the count 0-2 after he takes a half swing. with no contact to go down in the count 0-2. Helsel, if he strikes out here, will have to go back to the dugout, toss that awful sombrero on, as this would be his third strikeout of the night if he gets retired via that K. One out, runners on first and second. Tanner Keese, the windup, the pitch, a curveball on the outside half. Not chasing after it this time, though, was Helsel. We had just one hit through the first three frames of this ball game off the bat of Esteban Gomez of the Diamond Hoppers, but since then, the Beavers have got base runners on and got base runners in as the 1-2 pitch out of the hand of Tanner Keese goes out of play, so the count remains at 1-2. .86 pitches on the mark here for Tanner Keese, the Yucapa, California native. The 1-2 pitch, a fastball high, ends up getting past the catcher, Brandon Oliver. Looks like that one's going to go down as a pass ball, 96 miles per hour on the gun on pitch 87 of the night. Moves runners to second and third with that one. So a much bigger pitch, even more so here, coming up against Christian Helsel, now with runners at second and third. The fastball on the outside corner. Getting a piece of it was Helsel, so we'll do that all over again. Coming into the inning, 7 Ks on the board for Tanner Keese, and oh my, would strikeout number 8 be the most important one if he can get one here. The 2-2 pitch, curveball swung on and missed. Helsel goes down for the third straight time via the strikeout. This one for out number 2 here in the 5th. And just like that, the threat starting to slowly creep away here from the Diamond Hoppers, but with 2 outs and runners on first and second, Hunter Wood will try and bring in more runs for his team. He was the first run to come in this ballgame when he led off the previous inning with that 5-pitch walk off of Tanner Keese. A base is open there over at first, but Daniel Oliveri, the man standing on deck, does have one of the 2 hits for the Beavers tonight. The first pitch thrown to Hunter Wood. He fouls off into the grandstands here to my left in the press box. A beautiful scenery here in downtown Utica as the sun is completely down, the lights are on, and it's a little chilly, but still beautiful baseball weather here. The 0-1 pitch from Keese swung on and missed. Hunter Wood taking a long cut and swinging right through that one. He is now down 0-2 in the count. Struck out back to lead off the second, but came in to score after he had walked in the 4th. Runners are on second and third here. The 0-2 delivery from Keese swung on and missed. Back-to-back strikeouts to get out of that 5th inning threat. A double and a walk come across the board, but 2 strikeouts out of the 3 outs, and the Beavers threat in the home half of the 5th. Through 5 innings of play, the Beavers lead it 2-0 here on the United Shore Professional Baseball League YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Game 62 here on the USPBL YouTube channel. Rich Borland here with you on the call. 2-0 your score after 5 innings of play. We head to the 6th inning as Jake Welch, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish alum, going back to work in his 6th inning of work. He was at 49 pitches through 4 innings, but had a 22-pitch 5th inning. Gave up 2 hits, but no runs as the Hoppers threatened for arguably the first time all night long. He had given up just 1 base runner through the first 3 frames. Also had 5 Ks through the first 2 innings, but since then, just 1, courtesy of John Kraft to end the 4th. Meanwhile, the 1-1 pitch missing outside. Count going to 2-1 on the batter, John Mencken, who is 1 for 2 on the night. Struck out looking to end the 1st and then got a single back in the 4th inning. The 2-1 pitch, fastball inside. 2-seamer that Mencken swings right over. Evens the count up at 2-2. Mencken, like I mentioned, leading this league with 9 home runs. Coming into play tonight, a .329 average with 32 RBIs. Trying to leave the yard to cut this Birmingham-Bloomfield lead in half. Instead, though, hitting a high fly ball into foul territory. The first baseman, Gerard Hernandez, leaping over the first base dugout wall, protective barrier, but he cannot come up with the catch. He lost the hat, afro flying around, but almost an acrobatic catch there for the first baseman out of Pinnacle High School. Almost coming up with that one. The count, though, staying even at 2-2 against Mencken. Mencken batting from the right side. The Southern Illinois native looking at a changeup inside, just missing there. As Jake Welch, as well as his battery mate, Hunter Wood, freezing up after that non-strike call. Instead of the called strike 3, the count now ringing full on the leadoff man here in this 6th inning. The 3-2 pitch, a hard pitch on the inside. A soft ground ball hit, though, down the third baseline. Mencken getting to first base. The third baseman, Christian Helsel, sort of looked like he might have gotten beat with just the indecisiveness there on trying to read the hops of that baseball. Still waiting for a ruling here. And as soon as I see the ruling, I will let you know. But either way, John Mencken reaching first base. You got to imagine that's probably an error on the third baseman, Christian Helsel. So the leadoff man, Mencken, reaches base safely. And as I say that, another friendly hop for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. A hard ground ball hit by Esteban Gomez. Hits the lip of the edge of the grass right before it turns into the infield dirt towards that second baseman. That's Thomas Rulis. And that ball completely just hopped right over his head on that wild hop. And you can't really see it from your perspective, but Rulis, as he's walking back to Welch to hand him the baseball, just completely dumbfounded as he talked to the base umpire. And now it looks as if Jake Welch's night might be done. No action just yet in the bullpen, so it's probably just a calming down sort of meeting at the mound. But what a crazy situation we had there after that leadoff error that Mencken reached on. That single from Esteban Gomez, his second of the night. Just a crazy scenario right there. Brings runners to first and third for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers here in the top of the 6th inning. Still no outs on the board. And Josh McAdams, one of the new faces, mentioned how he had played some minor league baseball for the Cleveland Indians team. Played in the Arizona Fall League in 2012 at the age of 18. Played in the New York Penn League in 2013 for Mahoning Valley. Played for 2 teams in 2014. Took a hiatus from 15 to 16. But then is playing for the Indians in the Frontier League for the Lake Erie Crushers. The first pitch to McAdams, a fastball that misses. Count going to 1-0. Welch That pitch count starting to creep closer and closer to that triple digits. But as I say that, the ground ball hit to the shortstop. That's Dan Kennan. Kennan taking it himself and then relaying it to the first baseman, Gerard Hernandez, for the second out. The run, that is John Mencken, comes in to score. But 2 outs get put up on the board. They'll take the 2 outs for the run, but the lead cut in half. It is now 2-1 in favor of the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. So Kennan with the 6-3 double play brings up John Kraft, the number 6 hitter at the DH spot tonight for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. He not trying to strike out for the 3rd time tonight. Looking at a curveball inside, brings the count even at 1-1. Nobody now on the bases, as the bases are empty. 2 outs here after Mencken came in on that grounded into double play off the bat of Josh McAdams. Kraft now, even in the count at 1-1, fouls off the pitch, and it goes into the netting. Quickly down in the count 1-2 is Kraft. Pitch number 85 on the night for Jake Welch, getting fouled off and put down that right field baseline. Count staying at 1-2. And the next pitch on the 1-2 offering. Welch strikes out Kraft for the 3rd and final out, but the Hoppers cut the Beaver lead in half, 2-1, as a run comes in on the double play. You're listening to the YouTube channel on the USPBL. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Game 62 of Season 2 here at the USPBL. Had to use the restroom very quickly, had to go all the way downstairs, so pardon me, but we had missed out number 1 here in this bottom of the 6th inning as I catch my breath. The count was 2-2 on Daniel Oliveri. Meanwhile, I have to mention this, Tanner Keast still out there for his 6th inning of work. First strikeout of the inning. Oliveri goes down for his 2nd K of the game. Meanwhile, now Dan Kennan standing in for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. He swings right through pitch number 1 of his at-bat. Score is 2-1 in favor of these Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. As Tanner Keast now, let me count this up real quick. Just a few pitches away from triple digits. Some action lurking in that Eastside bullpen. As pitch number 99, the fastball, hitting 94 on the gun. Kennan fouling it off into the netting. He's quickly down, though, 0-2. He reached base safely twice, but yet to have his first hit. Reached on an error from the second baseman, Cam Stewart, back in the second, and then reached on a fielder's choice back in the 4th. And as I say that, pitch number 100, falling behind the wayside on the outside corner. Kennan holding off on it. Good stop from the catcher. That is Brandon Oliver. Kennan, as of right now, has scored the game-winning run when he scored the 2nd run in that 4th inning. Looking at this pitch, outside, missing, evens the count up at 2-2. Nobody on, 1 out. The count 2-2 on Dan Kennan. Trying to get his first hit of the ball game. Just 2 hits in this one so far for the Beavers, but they lead it by a score of 2-1 as Kennan looks at ball 3. That drops low and away out of the strike zone. Now the payoff pitch will ensue for Tanner Keast. The full count offering, fastball missing high and out of the zone. Got to imagine that might be it for Tanner Keast as Dan Kennan reaches via the base on balls. Already over that 100 pitch mark, officially sitting at .103 on the night here for Tanner Keast, but he will stay in for at least another batter. Gerard Hernandez, who is trying not to strike out for the 3rd time in the game, stands in. The fastball getting away from Keast. And now Esteban Gomez, the first baseman for this Eastside Diamond Hopper team, going over to calm down his starter. After that leadoff strikeout to Daniel Oliveri for out number 1, that full count walk to Dan Kennan has him over there on first base. Kennan 1 for 1 on the base pass, not only here tonight but on the season, as he had not tried anything coming into tonight's game, the 24th of August. The USPBL season sort of still up for grabs. All teams within just a few games of each other. As I say that, Gerard Hernandez swinging right through the 1-0 offering, evens the count up at 1-1. But like I mentioned, in the East Division, Eastside Diamond Hoppers at 21-21 overall. The Unicorns just a game behind them at 21-23. And then in the West, the Beavers with the best record in the league at 25-19. 5 games up on the West Side Woolly Mammoths, who are 19-23. As I say that, Hernandez swinging right through that pitch, bringing the count to 1-2 here with 1 out in this bottom of the 6th inning. 2-1 your score. Beavers leading the Eastside Diamond Hoppers, but Tanner Keast, the starter for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers, still out there, well over 100 pitches now. The 1-2 pitch, a curveball. Contact is made. The batter, Hernandez, initially thought it was going foul. He was just standing there for a second, then realized it was going to be close, and in fact did go foul. So we'll do that all over again. 107 the mark here for Tanner Keys, trying to keep his pitch count down as much as possible from here on out to see how long he can go through this one. As I say that, though, Dan Kennan trying to take another bag. Instead, Hernandez getting a piece of it, staying alive in the at-bat, but Kennan will have to jog back those 90 feet. Hernandez still battling in this at-bat, ready for the 1-2 offer. Curveball hanging in that zone, but Hernandez way ahead of that one, fouls it off down the right field line and out of play. Jimmy John's Field, a wide foul territory range in between the baselines and the dugouts. Not only that, but one of the shortest backstops in all of professional baseball. You can't get any closer in pro baseball than you can when you are sitting at the diamond tables behind home plate. And as I say that, Gerard Hernandez, even though he put up a battle, count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a 7-pitch at bat, but Hernandez goes down via the K, swinging and missing, courtesy of Tanner Keys. Keys with his second strikeout in the inning. 4 out of the last 5 outs for Keys to have been strikeouts. 110 pitches on the night for Tanner Keys. He's keeping an eye on the runner at first base. That is Dan Kennan. Kennan, though, might not have to run this one all the way through. The bat of Thomas Rulis hits a high fly ball out to left field, but Josh McAdams for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers makes the catch in left field for the third and final out. Beavers get a base runner, but no hits and no runs in the home half of the 6th inning. We head to the 7th. Beavers lead it, though, 2-1 here on the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for tonight's broadcast. Game 62 of 75 of the regular season. Beavers and Hoppers getting into it. We are through 6 innings of play. The Beavers got on the board first in the bottom of the 4th inning, but the Eastside Diamond Hoppers put up 1 in the top of the 6th. Jake Welch, the starting pitcher for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers, back out for inning number 7 of work. He'll start off Brandon Oliver, the catcher for Team Eastside, with a fastball high and inside. Oliver 0 for 2 on the night with a ground out and a fly out. This one, though, an incredible play by the second baseman, Thomas Rulis. It was a iffy play out there in shallow right field. It was a 50-50 shot between DeAndre Clark and Thomas Rulis, but no call was made from Clark out in right field, so Rulis sticking with his plan, coming up with the catch. You see Jose Iglesias of the Detroit Tigers make plays into that shallow outfield Willie Mays style, and that was sort of what you saw right there from Rulis, the product out of Dartmouth. Huge play there for out number one here to start off this 7th inning. As I say that, though, the first pitch of the at-bat for the batter, that is Trevor Achenbach. Achenbach with a hard hit ball out into left center field, and he will slide into second base with a one-out double here in this top of the 7th inning. After that great defensive web gem from Thomas Rulis, a one-out double there for Achenbach puts the Team Eastside Diamond Hoppers in business here in this top of the 7th. One out, runner on second base. Meanwhile, Jake Welch, the man who started on the mound for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers, sitting at 89 pitches currently. Trying to stick through it in this one, in this top of the 7th inning. He's going to have to deal with the number 9 hitting Ian Mikowski, who's 0-for-2 on the night. A .204 batting average coming into play this evening, but Welch with a big spot here. The first pitch to Ian Mikowski, a ball on the outside half, not getting the call there as Mikowski, showing bunt, pulls back for ball number 1. Infield, outfield, not at normal depth. The shortstop, Dan Kennan, shading towards third base more, and then Brandon Raw, the center fielder, shading towards left field. He's playing halfway in between center and left center. As the second pitch of the at-bat to Mikowski misses as well. Count 2-0 on the number 9 hitting Ian Mikowski, hometown kid out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Plays for the Adrian Bulldogs during the school year. He is graduated from there. The pitch thrown by Welch, the second baseman, that is Rulis once again. It's going to be an infield single for Ian Mikowski, but Rulis keeping it on the infield, not allowing Trevor Achenbach to come in to score. I guarantee you, if Rulis had let that ball get past him, Achenbach was definitely going to come in to tie this ball game. But instead, runners now threatening on the corners as Ricky Castro, the leadoff hitter for these Diamond Hoppers, will come up to the plate, but it looks like Jake Welch's night might just in fact be done. As somebody's coming out to pitcher's mound. Conversation being had between, not sure if that's Ray Ortega, Chris Newell, or whoever. But Jake Welch not getting the baseball taken away from him just yet. Looked as if the man in the bullpen was number 35. Might have been Seth Brenner. And in fact, it looks like they will go to an arm in the bullpen. Jake Welch's night is done. He gets a big round of applause, finishing his outing. I'll take a quick little break, and when I come back, not only will I let you know on Welch's night, but who is coming in for him. And we'll be right back. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Game 62 between the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers and Eastside Diamond Hoppers. It's a 2-1 ball game here in this top of the 7th inning. Runners on the corners, though, for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. Jake Welch, the starter for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers, officially done for the night. A 6.1 innings with 92 pitches. Seth Brenner now coming in for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers as Ian Mikowski, the man on first base, takes second with ease as runners on the corners gives him second base without a throw. The count 2-1 on Ricky Castro, but Welch on the night, 27 batters faced in the 6.1 innings. He gave up 7 hits, technically no earned runs as of right now, 1 earned. As I say that, the shortstop, that's Dan Kennan, coming back into shallow left field where the ball will be caught, but Kennan on the thrown ball into the pitcher's area. An error is made. Christian Hessel trying to come up with that ball on one hop, lets it get past him, and Achenbach comes in to score to tie this ball game. What a crazy scenario. So the second out gets made, but the run comes in to score to tie up this ball game. Just an awful showing there, and looks as if Christian Hessel is getting a mouthful right now at the circle at the pitcher's mound between the battery and the infielders. Tough spot there for Christian Hessel. Tough night overall. Hessel on the night with 3 Ks, and that big error right there, allowing Trevor Achenbach to come in to score. Ian Mikowski also moving up 90 feet. He gets all the way to third. Castro, though, retired on that pop-out to Dan Kennan for out number 2. That brings up Cam Stewart for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers, and he might find a hole. Kennan, though, picking it up. The play at first. Stretch, and not in time. A good stretch there from Gerard Hernandez, but just with enough speed down the line, Ian Mikowski comes in to score, and Cam Stewart with the RBI infield single gives the Eastside Diamond Hoppers the 3-2 lead. And just like that, Jake Welch's win turns into a no decision. And in fact, actually, he might be getting the loss here. And in fact, he put on both Achenbach and Mikowski. So it looks as if Welch will end up getting the loss here, barring any other scoring coming out of this one, if the Diamond Hoppers can keep the lead the rest of the way. Brenner, meanwhile, still trying to get out of this one. Josh Mencken, who's 1 for 3 on the night, hit a single in the 4th, struck out looking once in the 1st, but reached and scored on a shortstop error from Dan Kennan in the previous 6th inning. The 1-0 pitch missing low and inside on Mencken. He's quickly ahead in the count now, 2-0. And what a crazy turn of events. The Beavers, who had been in control for most of this game, as they got those 2 runs to take the lead in the 4th, gave up 1 in the 6th and now 2 here in this top of the 7th. And just like that, Welch's night goes from good to bad to worse. But Seth Brenner trying to stop the bleeding here in this top of the 7th inning. The 2-0 pitch getting called a strike on the inside corner brings the count to 2-1. Brenner set with a long hold, comes home with it. Missing, though, low and inside again. Count now 3-1. Seth Brenner last season a champion on the Utica Unicorn team, as well as the center fielder Brandon Raw. Outside of that, for the Birmingham-Bloomfield team, Dan Kennan, a familiar face from last year that I can remember. But as I say that, this ball hit on a line, but for the second time tonight, Christian Hessel with another acrobatic catch on the line, but obviously a tough inning there for him as he lets the run come back in on that error. But the Beavers get 2 runs, or excuse me, the Diamond Hoppers get 2 runs and take the 3-2 lead as we head to stretch time here at Jimmy John's Field. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel.
yourselves a hand. That was the best all week. No lie. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? We have a vehicle in the parking lot, a light blue Chevy Equinox, license plate number BMU 5787. That's Baker Michael Victor 5787. Please wash your car. However, we can help you with that. Owner of this vehicle, please report to the 1-800 Hanson's guest services area and pick up a certificate for a free car wash courtesy of Jack's Car Wash. Hey, calling all kids 12 and under. Join the Kids Club now and get awesome stuff and great offers. Visit the USPBL.com for more information on how to join. Now pitching for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers from Canton, Michigan, number 19, Michael Stafford. Leading off the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers, the right fielder, number 26, Don Andre Clark.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for tonight's broadcast. A good one on tap here. The Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers, who were up 2-0 after 5 innings of play, have given up 3 runs in the last 2 innings of work. They now trail it by a score of 3-2. Tanner Keast, who threw 6 innings worth of work, now in line for the victory. As the Hoppers, who trailed 2-1 through 6 innings, put up the 2 spot in the 7th. Tanner Keast, 111 pitches as leadoff man, Don Andre Clark for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers, looks at 2 straight strikes out of the hand of Michael Stafford. Tanner Keast, 111 pitches in those 6 innings. He faced 27 batters, gave up just 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 of them earned, 7 walks to 11 strikeouts. As I say that, Don Andre Clark swings and misses at the 3rd pitch of the at-bat, but the catcher, that is Brandon Oliver, comes up with the loose baseball in the dirt and finishes off the strikeout over there at first base to throw it to Esteban Gomez for the first out. Keast, though, a wild line right there. 6 innings, he gave up just 3 hits and 2 runs, but the 7 walks and 11 strikeouts, you don't see that too often with only that many runs given up. Just the 2 runs on 7 walks, but the 11 strikeouts critical there for the starting pitcher, Tanner Keast. He now gives way, like I said, to Michael Stafford. Stafford, number 19, a left-handed pitcher out of Canton, Michigan. Stafford making his 20th overall appearance for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers after starting off Brandon Raw with a ball on the outside corner. A fastball in about the same spot gets called a strike, evens the count up at 1-1. Raw on the night, 1 for 2. Doubled, did not come in to score. Walked and was caught stealing and popped out to shortstop so far in this one. The 1-1 offering, he swings right through a changeup at 74 miles an hour out of the hand of Michael Stafford. Stafford on the season, he's pitched in 26.2 innings while giving up 26 hits, 24 runs, 21 of them earned, 27 walks as the 4th pitch of the at-bat misses to even the count up at 2-2. But Stafford on the season, with those 27 walks, he's got 33 strikeouts and a 2-2 record. Also has 1 save on the season. The 2-2 pitch in the dirt and stopping it on the hop was the catcher, Brandon Oliver. The count, though, ranging full against the number 2 hitter, Brandon Raw. 3-2 your score between the Hoppers and Beavers. Beavers had a great starting outing from Jake Welch, but falling apart at the end of his outing, giving up a couple of base hits and then getting taken out. Those runs coming in to score end up giving Welch the loss as of right now. Obviously still some baseball to be played as we're just here in this home half of the 7th inning. Now Robert Poller finally will get an opportunity to try and put the ball in play. He walked on a full count back in the 1st, and then in the 3rd and 5th, he was intentionally walked both times with open bases, but finally no open base here for Robert Poller, the left-handed hitter out of Columbia. He's going to get an opportunity here. As I say that, the pitcher, Michael Stafford, keeping an eye on Brandon Raw over at first base. The first offering to Poller, he swings and misses. Way behind on it he was. Poller waiting for the 0-1 offer. The runner on first, Raw, not going anywhere. The 0-1 pitch, fastball missing just high. Raw, who was with the Unicorns all last year and for 5 games to start this season. Head coach Chris Newell, the manager of these Beavers, had wanted Brandon Raw from the start since day one. Finally had gotten him, and Raw, obviously with the numbers on the season, cannot complain with the production that he has seen. Meanwhile, though, Poller trying to reach base safely for the 4th straight time in this one, but also looking for his first hit. The 1-1 pitch, a called strike on the outside corner. Perfect pitch there from Michael Stafford, getting a piece of the paint on that outside frame. Home plate umpire calling it a strike, and Robert Poller not able to do anything with it. The runner on first is Brandon Raw. The count 1-2. Poller swinging, getting contact, and it looks like it might be a bloop single, and in fact it will be. Poller getting on for the 4th straight time in this one. Finally, though, getting a base hit. Brings runners to first and second here with just 1 out, and the cleanup hitter, Christian Helsel, coming up to the plate, but on the night, 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts, 2 swinging, 1 looking. 2 of them for the 3rd out of innings. That was in the 1st and the 3rd, and then the 2nd out back in the 5th inning. But what a spot here for the right-hander, Christian Helsel. Couple of ducks on the pond as Poller brings runners to first and second with that single. Helsel, who's due on the night, finally doesn't have to face off against Tanner Keese, that hard-throwing right-hander. Now having to deal with the much less velocity-threatening pitcher in Mr. Stafford. First pitch, though, to Helsel. He fouls off, and it gets out of play. The count 0-1, 1 out, runners on first and second. Michael Stafford giving the long look towards second, then coming home with it. The third baseman for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers, Trevor Achenbach. The combination of a off-balanced ground ball combined with the runners going to first and third on the play. A little bit of indecisiveness for the third baseman. Achenbach brings the bases loaded here. A leadoff strikeout to Don Andre Clark, followed by a 1-out walk and a 1-out single off of Raw and Poller. Load the bases up here on that error from the third baseman. So Christian Helsel, who had made that error in the last half inning, gets some help from his counterpart over at third base, Achenbach. And with 1 out, the base is now loaded here for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. And Hunter Wood coming up to the plate, swinging right through the first pitch he sees. Down in the count, he is 0-1. He's struck out twice here so far, but walked and scored the Beavers' first run of the ball game. The nasty changeup coming in at 76 miles an hour out of the left hand of Stafford. Quickly gets Hunter Wood down in the count, 0-2. It's such a big difference going from a guy who can throw mid to high 90s, then following that up with a guy who throws from the opposite side as well as about 15 miles an hour slower. Definitely tough to battle against, as Hunter Wood, who's down in the count 0-2, now has to patiently wait as Brandon Oliver, as well as Stafford and Ricky Castro, the catcher, shortstop, and pitcher, for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers have a quick meeting at the mound. Bases juiced for the Beavers, but a ground ball that could possibly turn into a double play could end their threat. They're trailing it 3-2 here in this home half of the 7th. Michael Stafford in crunch mode. Ends up giving a base hit back up the middle, but the second baseman, Cam Stewart, able to get to second base for the force out. So the Beavers tie this one up at 3, but not the worst type of situation there for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. The run does come in, but they get out number 2 over there at second base. Brandon Raw comes in to score to tie it up. Robert Poller moves over to third. Christian Hessel gets taken out via the 4U. Nice play there from Cam Stewart for out number 2. And on this next one, Cam Stewart with another play defensively. Much easier play there as he comes up with the easy line-out catch there for the third and final out in the 7th inning. But a run comes in to tie this one up. We're all knotted up at 3 through 7 innings played here between the Eastside Diamond Hoppers and the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for Game 62 of this 2017 USPBL season. Rich Borland on call here, and as I'm quickly joined by my good friend Matt Derry. Matt, welcome into the broadcast.
Oh, this is a first, Rich, for me. This is exciting. How are you?
Man. Hey, I obviously got the opportunity to work with you last year, but missed a little bit of the season thus far. How has it gone in the second season?
It's been great, to be honest with you. I think the biggest thing was the worry for baseball fans, the pure baseball purists like you and me and others, that adding a fourth team like the Westside Woolly Mammoths maybe would water down the product with a fourth team and an expansion team, but not at all. The quality of play has been great. The pitching's been really, really good. I know we saw Tanner Keast earlier tonight, everything else, and this has been a lot of fun.
Definitely. So to catch you up real quick, Esteban Gomez leading the way for the Diamond Hoppers here in this top of the 8th inning as we're all tied up at 3. He worked the 2-1 count, swings right through the 2-1 offering, and Seth Brenner continuing his technically second inning of work. Came in to help out the starter, Jake Welch, after Welch had gone 92 strong. Pitches, that is. Brenner on the 2-2 offering, just missing up with that 88-mile-an-hour pitch. But
He wanted that one.
yeah, oh, no doubt.
A little high. I like Seth. Last year, obviously, pitched with the Unicorns and has a nice live arm.
And as you say that, Brenner with some nasty stuff right there. Esteban Gomez chasing after that one for out number one. Gomez, though, first strikeout of the night. That brings up Josh McAdams, one of the new faces for this Eastside Diamond Hopper team. Little connection here. He had actually played a little bit in the minors with your Cleveland Indians organization.
I am a Tribe fan. And, you know, what's interesting with McAdams coming here is we're getting toward the end of the season, Rich. And if you and I recall from a year ago, weren't a lot of new faces toward the end of the year because by now I think organizations have who they want. And I think, and I was talking to Justin Ornduff, who runs baseball operations here, I think they'll lose some guys to big league organizations this offseason, which is the goal. But here we owe a new face with just really 3 weeks to play.
And we had 9 guys get picked up last year as the 0-1 offering to McAdams misses high out of Brenner's left hand. And if I heard correctly, it's about 4 guys this year so far?
9 last year, then 4 more in the offseason, so 13 total. And then this year during the season, we've had 5.
Okay.
So 18 total over 2 years. Not bad.
No doubt.
Real good.
75 games in the regular season last year, and we got just over 10 more here in this one. Obviously, a pretty even standings as Brenner's down in the count now 2-1 with that miss. The next pitch, though, getting fouled off into the grandstands to even it up at 2-2. Obviously, the Beavers with the best record, but you talked about how well the pitching's been overall throughout the league. You see any late season favorites here?
I do like Birmingham-Bloomfield. I think if Welch and Randy Wynn can keep it up as really the top 2 starting pitchers, and Chris Newell's one of the best in the business, as Brenner strikes McAdams out. The bullpen's gotten a lot better. At the start of the year, this team started like 3-12 because their pen was atrocious. But now they've straightened that out, and here they are in first place. A big game tonight. They win. They go up to five games with a lead, and with just one more win to need to sew up the top record in the regular season.
Yeah, we saw the Beavers get off to a hot start last year, and they sort of evened out towards the end of the year. Obviously, you want to finish better than you start, and that's exactly what the Utica Unicorns did. They, like the Beavers this season, had an awful start last year. I think at one point they were 8-26 or something like that.
You remember some of those losses they took, too.
No doubt.
I think one was in the 20s.
18-2 or something like that.
18-2. They gave up 20 runs in a game, and the beauty of the USPBL playoffs is, and we'll have a playoff weekend the 7th through the 10th. I think the Beavers and Hoppers play on the Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday is all playoff games. So the Friday game would be the 3rd and 4th seeds, and then the 2 seed would get a bye and play Saturday against the winner of that game, and then the winner of Saturday's game would play the Beavers in the finals. And I think that's how you do it. You reward the regular season.
A whole lot different scenario than last year, obviously, with just the 3 teams. But quickly, on the 0-1 offering, the pinch hitter, Joe Maroney, who was in for John Kraft. Kraft was over 3 with 3 Ks on the night. Kraft giving way to Maroney. Maroney, though, grounding out over there to the second baseman, Thomas Rulis, for the 3rd and final out. Derry, you want to stick around for another half, or you got stuff to do?
I would love it. I would love it.
Sounds good. We'll be right back. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel, Hoppers and Beavers, all tied up. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Game 62 here. Rich Borland alongside Matt Derry as we head to the home half of the 8th inning. Michael Stafford back onto the mound for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. And quickly, before we get this thing going, segue into upcoming football season. Obviously, the Locked On Lions with Matt Derry. How's that going so far?
I love doing the podcast. Had a lot of good guests on. As Dan Kennens looks like he's going to shop at the gap.
Kennan with that long single trying to turn it into two, and in fact will. No throw even coming close. He slides in, though, for that leadoff double, and just like that, the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers threatening here early with nobody out in this home half of the 8th.
We were talking about Michael Stafford pitching here for the Hoppers. Matt Stafford and the Lions. I do a daily podcast like you mentioned, and this team's going to be pretty good. They just got to stay healthy. Taylor Decker being out, their left tackle, is just a killer for them, but I think Greg Robinson, whom the general manager Bob Quinn traded for with the Rams to get, is going to be all right. I think he'll be serviceable. Will Ziggy Ansah come back? Eric Ebron hasn't practiced at all. And tomorrow night when they play the Patriots, it'll be interesting to see how they do. That's kind of the dress rehearsal game. First two teams they played in the preseason were god-awful. The Colts are bad, and the Jets are worse.
Right.
So this will be a good test for them tomorrow.
No doubt. Obviously, Garoppolo probably going to get some snaps in there. I see he's doing pretty well in this preseason. Obviously won't be getting any snaps during the regular season, barring anything with the GOAT Tom Brady. But
that's right.
The 1-0 count here to Hernandez.
You bunting here? You like this move?
I don't hate it. It's been a long game, really good pitching both ways, and it looks like Hernandez is going to try and put one down. In fact, he will in fair territory. The third baseman, Trevor Achenbach, successfully getting the play executed there, but Kennan moving up 90 feet closer to scoring. He gets all the way to third on that sacrifice bunt.
If you're Gerard Hernandez, been struggling lately, really has had a rough year at the plate, had a couple of big hits early in the year, now down to hitting about $136. You've got to, if you're Chris Newell, play for the one run here and then hope your closer can come out in the ninth and close it out. But Thomas Rulis is hitting 365. I'm a little bit surprised. I'm looking to see if Paul Nochi is going to walk Rulis to set up the force, but it looks like they're just going to bring the infield in and pitch to him, but don't expect to see anything close to the plate maybe here.
Yeah, Rulis batting 365 coming into play tonight, batting in that 9-hole, swinging and missing right through that first pitch. As it looked like there might have been a little sound difficulty right there, kind of getting into the heads as it was awful timing there, but either way, the count dropping to 0-1 on Rulis, who on the night 0 for 2, reached on an error, but did get the second on a walk back in the third. Infield in here. Looks like this ball might drop. The center fielder underneath it, not going to be able to come up with it. That ball drops in for the RBI single for Thomas Rulis. You know, coming into this one, you got a guy hitting 365 leading the league. Put him at the 9 spot, and would you look at that? It comes up big right there. At bat of the night here so far, in my opinion, giving the Beavers the lead.
He's been one of the league leaders. You got some of the better hitters in the game in this game tonight in terms of USPBL. John Mencken, Thomas Rulis, the kid from New York, has been really spectacular in spraying the baseball. Not a power guy, but that time put the bat on the ball. And like you said, outfielders playing a little bit deeper. I don't know. That's an interesting decision. Maybe somebody could ask Paul Nochi after the game about it. Would you pitch to him? But again, a tough guy to double up here. And on Andre Clark, if you were to walk Rulis to get to Clark. So that one backfired a little bit, and the Beavers are on top.
So the score 4-3 here in favor of the Beavers. They had a 2-0 lead after 4, and then we're down 3-2 halfway into stretch time, but have put 2 runs up in these last 2 half frames at the plate. Back to the top of the order we go. Don Andre Clark looking at strike number 1, as over there on first base is Rulis. Michael Stafford, the left-hander, coming set, giving one look over there to first, but the ball hit to the right side, over there to Cam Stewart. Stewart to Castro. Castro over to first in time. The 4-6-3 double play. Don Andre Clark is retired, but not before the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers can retake the lead as we will head to the top of the 9th inning. And we'll let you know who's going to come in for the Beavers as they look to get the save and the 1-1 victory. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel here with Rich Borland and Matt Derry. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for tonight's broadcast. Getting down to it here between the Beavers and Diamond Hoppers. A 4-3 ball game. On to the mound to pitch for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers into close. That is Trevor Jaunich. Trevor Jaunich, number 7. That is out of Polano, Minnesota. Jaunich on the season, a 2-0 record through the 14.2 innings that he has pitched. He's given up 7 hits, just 2 runs, and 4 walks, 19 strikeouts, and an ERA of .61. This is the man you want on the mound if you're the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers here for this save. Brandon Oliver has worked the count 2-1 here to start off this 9th inning. Jaunich with the nasty breaking ball on the fastball count evens the count up at 2-1 and completely freezes Oliver standing at the right-handed batter's box. Jaunich with that awkward delivery as the batter Oliver fouls this pitch off to stay alive in the count, but he starts off at your normal wind-up position. He takes his first step off to the side with his left foot, comes back into that set position, but then he freezes, and then he continues his motion as he's about to right here. Steps forward with that front leg and then comes back. It's a wild setup and definitely tough for opposing hitting. And Brandon Oliver, the first victim here in this 9th inning, gets a backwards K out of Trevor Jaunich. Great start here if you're a Birmingham-Bloomfield Beaver fan. So now Achenbach trying to get his 3rd hit in 4 at-bats. He's got 2 in his last 2 plate appearances. Looks at called ball 1 on the inside corner. Lined out to shortstop back in the 3rd. Singled and reached 3rd in the 5th. And then doubled and scored back in the 7th inning. Trying to come back in this one, though, are the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. After that leadoff strikeout to Brandon Oliver, Achenbach has worked the count 2-0. Big spot here for Jaunich. Jaunich with an absolutely nasty changeup. Getting called a strike over the heart of the plate. Might have been a little low, but count now moving to 2-1 on the right-handed batter out of Oklahoma Wesleyan. The 2-1 pitch, fastball hit to the left side. Tough play for Dan Kennan. He stays down, but throws this ball high and over the head of Gerard Hernandez over there at first base. The ball does stay in the field of play, though. And getting all the way to second base is Trevor Achenbach on that throwing error from Dan Kennan. So hold on to your hats just yet here, Birmingham-Bloomfield Beaver fans. So the tying run now in scoring position at second base. The Hoppers with 9 hits on the night, but just 3 runs to show for it. And on the other side of the diamond, the Beavers trying to cling on to this 1-run lead, have 4 runs on just 5 hits. Both teams with 3 errors on the night. Not the cleanest of games that I've seen, but back and forth, it has been even all the way through. And the winner of this one is going to feel like they earned it. The loser, on the other hand, obviously will say that they let it slip just out of the grasp of their hands, as it has been back and forth all night long. Scoreless through the first 3. 2 runs put up by Birmingham-Bloomfield in the 4th. Nothing in the 5th. And then in the top of the 7th, the Eastside took the 3-2 lead. Beavers tied it back up in the bottom of the 7th and then added 1 more for an insurance run for the 4-3 lead in the bottom of the 8th inning. We're here in the top of the 9th with 1 out. The 8-hole hitter Trevor Achenbach standing at second after reaching via the E6 from Dan Kennan. And now the number 9 hitter, Ian Mikowski, after swinging right through pitch number 1 against Jaunich, is down to the count 0-1. Infield at regular depth. The changeup just missing on that outside corner. Jaunich thought that was a good pitch. Looked good from up here, but just missing the zone. Evens the count up at 1-1. Jaunich sets, throws. Another changeup, this one missing inside. Almost got Mikowski to swing right through it. A good pitch there but could not get the chase. And instead of a 1-2 count here with one out and a runner on second, the count drops to 2-1. We'll see what type of delivery that Janich brings. Janich comes set. The runner on second is Achenbach. Janich with the long look to second, forcing Mikowski at home plate to call time, staying alive in this count. Infield at normal depth. Outfield with a big gap out in right center field. The right fielder, that is Don Andre Clark, playing away from the line in right. And on the 2-1 offer, called strike, a fastball on the outside corner, evens the count up at 2-2. Janich very close to getting out number 2 here in this one. Two-two count. Janich with 3 looks back towards second base, and in fact, he's going to keep an eye on the runner at second. That is Achenbach, bringing that front leg up, leaning towards second base. No throw being made by the pitcher, just keeping tabs on that runner at second. The count 2-2. Janich with the fastball down the heart of the plate. It's going to possibly drop in, and it will. Getting past the diving left fielder, that is Daniel Oliveri. He cannot come up with it, but a nice job backing that play up was Brandon Raw, who comes up with the baseball, not allowing Trevor Achenbach to come in to score. The one-out single for Ian Mikowski brings runners to the corners. And now the Beavers possibly could give up this lead if the runner on third, Achenbach, comes in to score here. But before any pitches are thrown, looks like there will be a meeting at the mound. So the meeting at the mound finally done for the Beavers, but a big spot coming up here. Runners on the corners, a 4-3 lead for the team in the field. We're in the top of the 9th inning, just one out on the board. The Beavers can end it with a double play. They got the corners in, middle infielders playing at normal depth. The runner at first going, showing bunt was Ricky Castro. Castro trying to sell that he was hit by a pitch. At first, there was no sign being called by the home plate umpire. Ricky Castro says that he was hit on the foot, and now he gets that call and will walk to first base on the hit by pitch. But now the pitcher, Janich, defending his case, as well as the catcher, that is Hunter Wood. And now it looks as if manager of the Beavers, Chris Newell, having a talk with the home plate umpire, trying to defend his team. Obviously a huge call being made here. If the call stands as a hit by pitch, the bases will in fact be loaded. Obviously a force play will ensue, which wouldn't be the worst thing for the Beavers. But it would put the game-winning run at second base. Looks like not necessarily a bantering conversation between Chris Newell and the home plate umpire. Actually, it looked like there was a couple smiles shown back and forth between the two. And now after the indecisive call at the plate to give Ricky that hit by pitch, both umpires are talking collectively together to the right side of the pitcher's mound. And we'll see if we get a call back here. You don't see it happen too often, but the home plate umpire looks like he's doing most of the talking. And it looked as if initially the home plate umpire had not seen that Ricky Castro was hit by a pitch because he did not initially call it back. And in fact, The first base umpire says that he didn't see it either, so they will bring Ricky Castro all the way back to home plate, which means, let's get this right, Mikowski will have to go back to first, I'm assuming. And in fact, he will. Now, Paul Noce, the manager of the Diamond Hoppers, is coming out to talk. A little bit more argumentative conversation here as Noce having some words with the home plate umpire. Home plate umpire trying to firmly give his word back. Noce clearly not happy with the call. First base umpire now, or excuse me, first base coach now talking with the first base umpire. Whole lots of commotion going on here. All I know is Achenbach will be at third base no matter what. That's where he was to start this play. The man that was on first, Ian Mikowski, had to get brought back to first on the hit by pitch, but since it was not a hit by pitch, that ball got past the catcher, which means they will give Mikowski second base. A wild scenario right there. So now runners on second and third with just one out here, clearly going in favor of the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. The count is 1-0 on Ricky Castro. Infield now in for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. The 1-0 pitch, fastball missing high and outside, away from Ricky Castro. Castro on the night, 1 for 4. Struck out swinging back in the first, flew out to left in the third, singled in the fifth, and popped out to Dan Kennan in the seventh. The 2-0 pitch inside, that one misses. So now the count 3-0, and after all that banter between Chris Newell, Paul Noce, and the umpires, Castro might be getting first base either way. The 3-0 pitch in there for a called strike on the outside half. So Castro will not get the 4-pitch walk, but will still work the count here as he's ahead 3-1. Mentioned the Beavers, with just over 10 games to go, have a 25-19 record, and this one is going to go off of the base. First base, that is, down the right field line, and then a run's going to come in to score on an error after that. Trevor Achenbach comes in to score on the RBI single from Ricky Castro, and then after that, Ian Mikowski comes in to score as well. That one on the error from the right fielder. That was Don Andre Clark. Adding insult to injury, Castro getting all the way to second now. So 1 out still on the board here in this top of the 9th inning. The save has been blown for the Beavers. And Trevor Yonich now in line for the loss. He starts off the next batter, Cam Stewart, off with a ball. Castro with a decent lead over there, halfway in between second and third. The 1-0 pitch to Cam Stewart. He looks at this one for a called strike, evens the count up at 1-1. Still just 1 out here in the top of the 9th inning. The Eastside Diamond Hoppers ahead 5-4 in this seesaw matchup. Back and forth it has gone all night long. Cam Stewart fouling off the pitch out of play. The count dropping to 1-2 against him. On the night, 1 for 4. Struck out once, singled and drove in a run. But trying not to strike out here for the second time of the night, and also trying to get an insurance run with Castro out there in scoring position. Instead, the 1-2 pitch, fastball high and in at the numbers. Stewart getting out of the way of that one, evens the count up at 2-2. Two-two pitch getting way outside, almost past the catcher. That's Hunter Wood, but he sticks that glove way out there to the right side and comes up with the baseball. But now the payoff pitch will ensue. tough spot here for Trevor Janich. Janich with the quick look to second, comes back into the zone with the pitch, but missing just inside with that fastball. Cam Stewart reaches safely with the with the 1-out walk. Runners now stand at first and second. Still just 1 out here in the top of the 9th. So Janich trying to battle through this. First pitch he throws to the next batter, John Mencken. Mencken fouls off out of play. Some action in the Beaver bullpen. Not sure who it is exactly, as I unfortunately forgot my binoculars at home today. Won't happen again. I'll let you know that, though. Janich set. The 0-1 delivery left up in the zone, and it's hit into left field. Rounding third and coming in to score is Ricky Castro, an RBI single for John Mencken, and the Eastside Diamond Hoppers pad onto their lead here in this top of the 9th. So the score now 6-4. Tough outing here for Trevor Janich. Like I mentioned, some action in the Beaver bullpen. Now 2 men warming up, 1 righty and 1 lefty. And it looks like Esteban Gomez will be standing in here. But what a last couple of innings here. We started off with the miraculous pitchers duel, both from Tanner Keast and Jake Welch. But both bullpens have sort of fallen apart in these last couple of innings. 7 combined runs between these two teams after the 6th inning of play. Esteban Gomez, meanwhile, fouling off the first pitch he sees in this at-bat. So the count now 0-1 on Gomez. The next pitch missing just low and inside, evens the count up at 1-1. Gomez on the night started off very well. Had 2 singles and a base on balls in his first 3 plate appearances, but did strike out to lead off the 8th inning. Trying to continue his hot night here as he's ready for the 1-1 delivery. Janich with the pitch, fastball missing high and out of the zone. Count now 2-1 on the left-handed hitter out of Brooklyn, New York. Runner on second is Cam Stewart. The runner on first is John Mencken. Esteban Gomez in the batter's box. The 2-1 pitch looked good from up here, but not called a strike by the home plate umpire. Count, instead of evening up at 2-2, drops to 3-1 here against Janich in possibly his last battle of the night, barring the result. The 3-1 pitch, called strike on the outside corner. Gomez thought he had ball 4 to load the bases up, but instead called strike number 2. He's going to have to possibly earn this one with 1 out, runners on first and second. Janich with a couple of looks to second base where Stewart is. And before the payoff pitch ensues, smart job there from Esteban Gomez to take some time out. Josh McAdams, the newest face of the Diamond Hoppers, standing in on deck. The runner at second and first, both trying to get a stolen base opportunity with a full count and 1 out, but instead, ball 4, 2 walks and 3 singles and 2 walks here after the strikeout that led off this inning to Brandon Oliver followed up by the error from Dan Kennan. It is all falling downhill. A couple of walks and 3 hits in this inning. And that means a pitching change will happen. I'll give you the name and the man that's coming in when we get back. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for Game 62's broadcast. We're in the thick of things here in the top of the 9th inning. The Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers, who had a 4-3 lead going into this 9th, have given up 3 runs, all out of the hand of Trevor Yonich, and he has given way to James Ball. Ball starting off Josh McAdams with a ball low and away. McAdams on the night 0 for 4 in his USPBL debut. 2 Ks, a ground out, and reached on a fielder's choice. Trying to get his first hit of his professional career with the Diamond Hoppers. He is no stranger, though, to pro baseball, as he has played for the Indians minor league organization for quite some time, from 2012 all the way to 2014. So he is no stranger to good baseball. The count, though, 1-1 on McAdams. Ball on the season, a 1-2 record. He's pitched in 19.2 innings and given up 22 hits, 19 runs, 6 walks. He might be giving up a base hit here. Instead, though, the ground out to second base. Nice play there from Thomas Rulis. Run does come in to score is Cam Stewart for the Beavers' 7th run of the game. Both Mencken and Gomez move up 90 feet. But McAdams on that RBI ground out is retired for out number 2. And that brings up John Kraft, who will be the 9th hitter for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers here in this top of the 9th. But Ball on the season, 13 Ks to 6 walks, a 5.94 ERA coming into this one. First pitch of the at-bat to John Kraft, the fastball that misses low and inside. Runners on second and third here in this top of the 9th inning. The Eastside Diamond Hoppers have the 7-4 lead, and they have broken it open here in this top of the 9th, putting up a 4 spot against the Beavers bullpen. The next one, the 1-0 offer, gets fouled off down that third baseline. The manager of the Eastside Diamond Hoppers, Paul Nochi, coming close to making a play on that one, but will elect to hold off. Ball hit a little too fast for Paul Nochi's likings. Nochi, a lot of experience in baseball, had actually coached DJ LeMahieu before his time in Colorado. The 1-1 pitch, the batter at the plate, Joe Maroney, excuse me, not Kraft. Kraft was filled in for by Maroney back in the 8th inning. Maroney on the night grounded out to the second baseman, Thomas Rulis, back in the 8th inning. But he ends up checking his swing and going through with it. He's down in the count 1-2. Pitcher sets, delivers, cannot get a strike right there. That evens the count up at 1-1, and James Ball trying to get the third and final out here without any more damage put up by the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. If he can get strike 3 here, he'll get out of this jam. The 2-2 pitch in the dirt and outside brings the count full. Good stop there from from Hunter Wood behind home plate. Keeping the runner at third, that's John Mencken at bay. He remains at third. Esteban Gomez is at second. And Joe Maroney trying to get his 14th hit of the season. The 3-2 pitch, ball lifted into left center field. It's going to go over the head of Dan Kennan and into that outfield. Coming up with it is Brandon Raw, but a couple of runs come in to score for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. Count them 1-2. They have a 9-4 lead. Both Mencken and Gomez come in to score on that 2 RBI single off the bat of Joe Maroney. And the Eastside Diamond Hoppers continue to just put on here in this top of the 9th inning. That is 6 runs on the board here in this half inning of work. Thought we might have been out of here at a reasonable time, but 6 runs put up here by the Eastside Diamond Hoppers here in this top of the 9th inning have lengthened this one out. And batting for the second time here in this top of the 9th inning is Brandon Oliver. Runner on first. Oliver looking at the second pitch of the at-bat. He is now ahead 2-0. So the woes continue here for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. The combination of Trevor Yawnich as well as Mr. Ball. James and Trevor having a tough time here. And as I say that, this pitch hit high and deep, but on the warning track and making the catch is Daniel Oliveri. Brandon Oliver, meanwhile, gets retired for the second time in the inning. He gets retired for the first and third out. But the Eastside Diamond Hoppers put up a 6 spot in the top of the 9th and lead it 7-4 as we head to the home half of the 9th as the Beavers will try and get back into this one after giving up the lead. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel on the Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's broadcast. Eastside Diamond Hoppers with a commanding lead now with the 6th spot put up in the top of the 9th inning. It is 9-4 in their favor after they were trailing by a run going into that final frame. A new arm on the mound for Team Eastside. That is Carl Bryce, the birthday boy, in fact. Mississippi native making his 23rd appearance from the bullpen. As he finds the strike zone there, brings the count to 2-1 on the batter. That is Brandon Raw. On the season, though, Bryce, like I mentioned, in his 23rd appearance, he's pitched in 22.1 innings. He's given up 17 hits, 6 earned runs, 8 total, 21 walks to 22 strikeouts, a 3-2 record. He's got 3 saves on the season. Ball misses outside to Raw. He's now in a great hitter's count as he's ahead in the count, 3-1. The 3-1 offer hit to the left side, and it might be an issue for Ricky Castro. Initially, he bobbled it, but comes up with it after that little kerfuffle and ends up making the play to retire Brandon Raw over there at first base. So a quick scare there for Ricky Castro turns into out number 1. Brandon Raw is retired. So that brings up Robert Pauler, the designated hitter here tonight, has reached base all 4 times. In the first inning, it was via the walk. The 3rd and 5th innings, he had to do no work whatsoever outside of dropping the bat, as he was intentionally walked back-to-back at-bats in the 3rd and the 5th. Or excuse me, the 3rd and the 5th. Singled back in the 7th, but after swinging and missing at that offering, he is quickly down in the count here, 0-2. Carl Bryce trying to get quickly out number 2 here. Obviously not a save opportunity for the right-hander, but want to get a win any way you can and obviously pitch effectively whenever you're out there, whether you're up 1 or up 10. Bryce on the 0-2 offer, misses with the fastball low. Does not get Robert Pauler to chase after it. The count 1-2 on Pauler. Bryce sets, delivers, missing, high and outside, evens the count up at 2-2. Pauler trying to start something here for the Beavers in this home half of the 9th inning. You know, the only thing you can say if you're the Beavers managing staff coming into this home half of the inning, all you can really say is, well, the opponents can put up 6.5 innings. Why can't we? But instead, it has not started off as they would have liked to if you're a Beaver fan after that leadoff ground out from Brandon Raw on the 3-1 offer. Robert Pauler now has worked the count full with 1 out and nobody on. The payoff pitch, full count, missing high. Robert Pauler almost hacking at that one, but instead reaches first base on the 6-pitch walk. And that'll bring up Christian Helsel, who has had a night to forget at the plate. He did have one error in the field that sort of hurt his team. Part of the reason the Hoppers are up as we speak, but Helsel on the night struck out his first 3 at-bats and then reached on an error in the 7th. He looks at called strike 1 on the outside corner in this at-bat. Plate appearance number 5 here for the right-hander out of Western Kentucky University. Looking at ball 1 that evens the count up at 1-1. Helsel coming into play tonight, batting .325, and it might add up here. A high fly ball out into left center field, ranging towards the warning track, but still on the grass in the outfield is the center fielder. That's Ian Mikowski. And if I can check my stats as quick as possible, that is the first defensive play that Ian Mikowski has made all night long. Nothing has been hit out there into center. Finally some action for Mikowski. 2 outs here in this home half of the 9th inning. Pollard sitting over there at first base. He had just walked for his 4th time in 5 plate appearances. But then Helsel continues his tough night. Over 5 now with that fly out to center field. Hunter Wood now coming up to the plate. Looking at ball 2 here. Quickly ahead in the count. 2-0 after 2 pitches out of the hand of Carl Bryce have missed by a lot. So the Beavers down to their final out, but a good hitter's count here for Hunter Wood. Still looking for his first home run of the season. If he could put one on the board, that would be a big help for the Beavers, but still a long ways to go. The 2-0 pitch, called strike on the outer half, brings the count to 2-1. Swinging and fouling off a pitch. Evens the count up at 2-2. The 2-2 offering, missing high, bringing the count full. And the runner on first, that's Robert Pollard. He's going on the pitch, but swinging and missing through that one is Hunter Wood. He goes down for the final out of the game, and the Eastside Diamond Hoppers take this one by a final of 7-4 here on this 24th of August in Game 62. We will see you for Game 63. I'll be on call not only tomorrow, but the rest of the weekend all by myself. I hope you can join me as tomorrow, let's double check this. It's been a while since I have kept up on the schedule, but tomorrow it will be the Eastside Diamond Hoppers against the Utica Unicorns. Friday fireworks and UCS back to school night at the ballpark. First pitch at 7:05. We hope if you can't join us here at the ballpark, you can join me on the call. Once again, this is Rich Borland helping out the guys who've been calling games all season long. But like I said, I'll be here for mostly the rest of this 2017 season for the USPBL. Glad I could be a part of it. Thanks again, you all, for listening. Rich Borland here, signing off as the Eastside Diamond Hoppers take this one by a final of 7-4. Diamond Hoppers move up to 23-21 on the season, and the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers drop to 26-21. Thank you all for listening, and have a good night.